Chapter 1121, 1121 Love Across Races, 1. 1121 Love Across Races, 1. Shiyu was silent. Ice Dragon was also stunned. A genius longevity turtle had fallen in love with a snake. What was going on, little brother? Shiyu had a strange expression. Ling, is it you? Ling, who? In short, Shiyu suspected that Ling's luck skill was giving him more trouble again. What was he doing in Dragon Palace City this time? Finding an individual who could fuse into a black tortoise. He happened to need turtles and snakes. In the end, a tortoise and snake in a relationship came here. This was simply a perfect black tortoise template. Just like the green dragon, the black tortoise also had many images. As for Emperor Wu's black tortoise, its evolution direction was towards the legendary turtle snake black tortoise image. On Earth, black tortoises with the image of turtles and snakes were actually popular. For example, after the Han Dynasty, the image of the turtle and snake fusion was left behind by the ancient clans that worshipped the turtle or turtle totems and the clans that worshipped the snake totems. From this point of view, it was very scientific for a turtle and snake to mate and produce a black tortoise. But in reality, this was actually very unscientific. After all, with segregation, it was impossible to mate successfully. In nature, only pure-blooded dragons with powerful bloodlines could cross races to mate. Presumably, this was also the reason why the longevity turtle race, which had difficulty reproducing, prohibited mating with other races. There weren't many descendants to begin with, and they still had to waste them on other races. It was time to pass. Shiyu seemed to understand Father Longevity Turtle's anger. Minister Shiyu? The Turtle Prime Minister couldn't help but shout when it saw Shiyu silent on the spot. Show me the information on these two guys you mentioned, Shiyu said. Yes. The Turtle Prime Minister nodded and quickly flipped through their information. Shiyu looked at it. Race, Longevity Turtle. Stats, Water. Race level, high-level monarch. Level of growth, commander. Introduction: it's the son of the Turtle Prime Minister of the Lightning Dragon Palace. It's talented and has a mutated body. It broke through to commander rank less than a year after it was born. Later on, because he violated the clan rules, he was imprisoned by his father on the 0.5 level of the underwater prison to reflect. The 0.5th floor of the underwater prison. That was a specially opened level. It was mainly used to lock disobedient second-generation heirs of the Dragon Palace. The internal environment was harsh, and it was a very terrifying place. It was considered a childhood shadow that the experts of Dragon Palace City would casually mention to scare children when educating their heirs. What's going on? He's not even a year old, but he's already a commander rank? Shiyu was stunned. Because the longevity turtle had a long lifespan, its growth was very slow. Did the Turtle Prime Minister of the Thunder Dragon Palace give it some crazy gold carrots? The Turtle Prime Minister, What resource is that? No, the Turtle Prime Minister of the Thunder Dragon Palace said that little guy usually eats basic food. To be able to grow so quickly, it's purely a mutation. I think it's also because of the mutation that its mating concept is a little problematic. Mutated creatures all have some strange problems. It's not strange for them to mature early and have strange mating orientations. The Turtle Minister looked at Shiyu with a gossipy expression and said, speaking of which, this is also related to you, Minister Shiyu. Shiyu? What has it got to do with me? The Turtle Prime Minister said, you forgot that the Turtle Prime Minister of the Thunder Dragon Palace has never had any descendants because he's too old and too strong. He even asked you for the time fruit. It successfully had a son when it was old because it mated after eating the time fruit you gave it. Shiyu? Ice Dragon. After that little turtle was born, it has always had high hopes. It plans to start training when it grows up a little. But who knows? Who knew that little turtle would actually have such thoughts when he was only a year old? It's as if he has lovesickness and is obsessed with lovesickness all day. His cultivation speed has decreased greatly, making the Turtle Prime Minister of the Thunder Dragon Palace furious. Ice Dragon, this. Shiyu, he's only 1 year old. No matter how I look at it, a child is insensible. Moreover, how did they come into contact? The turtle minister, it seems that because a playful little turtle was injured somewhere in the Dragon Palace and was helped by the little princess of the Winter Water Snake race. Then, the two parties met again at a banquet and completely became friends. Both parties are geniuses. They fight and spar every day, play every day, and grow and improve together. Then, the little turtle fell in love. Ice Dragon, young people are really fancy. Shiyu, it's good to be young. The Turtle Prime Minister of the Thunder Dragon Palace thinks so too, so it's only angry for a while before starting to personally educate it. We tried to stop it. Teaching it how to mate across races won't have a good outcome. Telling it that it's still young and that it doesn't know love at all. Moreover, the race rules don't allow the mating of races. The Turtle Prime Minister of the Lightning Dragon Palace originally thought that this would end and also thought that the child was insensible, but I didn't expect that little turtle to be quite stubborn. In the end, it mustered its courage and secretly took out a Dragon Ball from the birth gift Lord Wex Dragon King gave it. It ran to confess to the little princess of the Winter Water Snake race. And in the end? Shiyu ate the melon excitedly. In the end, the little princess of the Winter Water Snake race rejected the little turtle very bluntly, making the little turtle lose its soul. Ice Dragon, TSK, 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 standard outcome. The Turtle Prime Minister said, it's not over yet. The lost little turtle is completely listless. The Turtle Prime Minister of the Thunder Dragon Palace expected better from someone and threw it into the underwater prison to reflect. It said that it wanted it to be locked up for 100 years. But actually, it definitely won't be locked up for that long. I just hope it can wake up quickly. Chapter 1122, 1122 Love Across Races, 2. 1122 Love Across Races, 2. And the interesting thing is about to come. Who knew that after hearing that the little turtle was locked in the underwater prison, the little princess of the Winter Water Snake race immediately ran to plead for leniency? So the reason why the little princess of the Winter Water Snake race rejected the little turtle is because the Dragon Ball is too precious. In addition, it also knows that the racial rules of both races don't allow interracial love, so it rejected. After all, the Winter Water Snake race is an overlord race. It's very difficult to reproduce across races. It's precisely because it's more rational and knows that there won't be a result that it rejected it very directly. However, its true thoughts can't be hidden from a group of overlords. It also has a good impression of the little turtle. At this moment, it wasn't just the Turtle Prime Minister of the Lightning Dragon Palace who was silent. The Winter Water Snake Overlord also fell silent and locked its daughter in confinement. Let it reflect on itself to avoid both parties falling completely later. Ice Dragon was shocked. Damn it, there was also a big problem with this little Winter Snake Princess. Shiyu looked at the information on the little princess of the Winter Water Snake. Race, Winter Water Snake. Attributes, Water, Ice. Race level, Low-level Overlord. Level of growth, Commander. Introduction: she's the daughter of the Winter Snake Overlord. Her talent is shocking. She grew to Commander rank at the age of 1. It was proud. Shiyu? This is also a year old. Don't tell me. Ah, right. The little princess of the Winter Water Snake was also born because of Sir Shiyu's time fruit. The time fruit you sent made Dragon Palace City welcome a fertility wave. Among them, using this opportunity, many breeding standard soldiers were also born in the Dragon Palace. Not only did they give birth to one child, but they also gave birth to a second child, a third child. I remember that these overlords who have children at an old age gave Sir Shiyu gifts. Didn't you receive them? Shiyu? His memory was bad. Perhaps the gift was too light. If it was a legendary resource, he would definitely remember it. Ice Dragon looked at Shiyu. So, was there a problem with the descendants born from the time fruit? Why did they all like to fall in love across races? However, talent did sound pretty good. So, Minister Shiyu, what do you want to do with the information about the tortoise and snake race? The longevity turtle asked. Shiyu was silent for a moment before looking at him and saying, Me. I plan to nurture 2 new pets. The race I choose is the turtle snake. What do you think? The longevity turtle widened its eyes. They looked incredulous. Holy shit! A world legend had defeated the eldest prince of Dragon Palace City, the second prince, the third prince, and the strongest super beast tamer of the younger generation on Blue Planet. So Shiyu planned to nurture a new pet? Moreover, it planned to contract the turtle race and the snake race in Dragon Palace City. What, really? Ice Dragon was also shocked. What's there to nurture in a turtle snake? Why don't you take my goddaughter away? Shiyu said, no. Ice Dragon, Shiyu said, we'll look at the other information later. I plan to see the longevity tortoise and winter water snake you mentioned first. The Ice Dragon King and the Turtle Prime Minister looked at each other. Soon, Shiyu descended to the underwater prison. After greeting the Golden Dragon King from afar, he entered. In the depths of the underwater prison, the corners of the Golden Dragon King's mouth twitched, but he still came out to welcome them. The last time the Golden Dragon Prince applied to challenge Shiyu, it agreed. It didn't expect that it would be a depressed son who returned. It even lost the faith of the citizens in his territory. What a sin! What brings Minister Shiyu here? The Golden Dragon King circled in the air and said. Shiyu chuckled and said, it's nothing. I'm going to see a second-generation heir locked on the 0.5th floor. Golden Dragon King, go do your work. I can do it myself. Second-generation heir, which one is it? The son of the Lightning Dragon Palace's Turtle Prime Minister. It? The Golden Dragon King had some impression. After all, it had just been locked in not long ago. Moreover, these second-generation heirs had to be taken extra care of. After all, the environment here was harsh. He couldn't really let anything happen to them. A moment later, Shiyu arrived outside the prison. He paid attention to the inside without being detected. Inside the lone prison surrounded by rocks, black water surged, lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled. Demonic winds howled, and it was very oppressive. A small blue turtle was quietly training on a huge rock. It was a little longevity turtle, only half a meter tall. It had a pair of bright red and black eyes and a wavy tail. Its watery blue body was wrapped in a hard black shell, and its abdomen was white. It was the appearance of the longevity turtle when it was young. At this moment, this little longevity turtle was doing heavy lifting with difficulty, holding the huge rock to train. What's going on? Shiyu asked. Love makes turtles crazy. The Golden Dragon King sighed. With a harem of 300, it was extremely loving and knew this very well. The corners of Shiyu's mouth twitched. After a casual guess, he understood that this blue turtle probably wanted to work hard to become stronger and obtain the right to speak through strength. Wasn't this quite ambitious? He wasn't depressed at all. It looked like he had understood. Shiyu directly teleported into the prison. He stood on the huge rock opposite the longevity turtle and looked at it quietly. Who? At this moment, the longevity turtle was exhausted and its consciousness was blurred. It didn't notice anyone coming at all. Hey! Only when Shiyu spoke did the longevity turtle, who was training, suddenly jump in fright. It broke open the stone and took a step back to look at Shiyu in shock. Right on the heels of that, he accidentally fell off the rock and fell flat on his face. Then, he quickly got up. Chapter 1123, 1123 Love Across Races, 3. 1123 Love Across Races, 3. Who? The longevity turtle looked at Shiyu cautiously. Obviously, it didn't know who Shiyu was. Looks like you don't know me. Shiyu looked at it and said telepathically, I heard that you were locked in because of your puppy love. Who? The longevity turtle's expression was firm. Don't even think about convincing it. Its willpower could be gritted. It directly regarded Shiyu as the guy its father had sent to persuade it. However, that was impossible. Even if the entire world stopped it, it had to persist. It believed that as long as it worked hard, it could definitely catch up to the other party. Continue. We'll meet again. Shiyu chuckled. He could see the other party's determination. Next, it was time to see the situation of the little princess of the Winter Water Snake. If it was really as the Turtle Prime Minister had said and also had a good impression of this blue turtle, Shiyu didn't mind matchmaking it and taking it away. Wasn't it just that it was very difficult to reproduce across races and was forbidden by his family? Was this a problem? Shiyu didn't believe that the other party would refuse if he told the Turtle Prime Minister of the Lightning Dragon Palace and the Winter Water Snake Overlord to take them away to give birth to black tortoises. You're leaving just like that? At the same time, the Golden Dragon King, who had sent Shiyu away, had a strange expression. He was very confused by Shiyu's behavior of leaving after only whispering a few words to the Longevity Turtle. At the same time, Winter Water Floating Island. In the territory of the Winter Water Snake race, Shiyu descended again. In the depths of the Winter Water Snake habitat, the Winter Water Snake Overlord was suddenly shocked and quickly flew out. Then, it was shocked to see Shiyu standing on the island. Minister Shiyu? As a little transparent in Dragon Palace City and even the Environmental Protection Department, the Winter Water Snake Overlord didn't understand why a big shot like Minister Shiyu would suddenly come to its territory. This thick blue-bodied white-striped snake immediately flew over ingratiatingly and said, "Minister Shiyu, why are you free to come to me? Do you have any instructions?" Shiyu looked up at the Winter Water Snake Overlord that was slowly descending and smiled. "Long time no see, Winter Water Overlord." The Winter Water Snake Overlord didn't expect Shiyu to still have an impression of it. They had clearly only met at the Dragon Palace banquet that time, and they didn't communicate the whole time. "I came this time to investigate some situations. Did you give birth to a daughter after you received the time fruit from the Environmental Protection Department?" The Winter Water Snake nodded crazily and thanked him happily. Yes, and the talent is quite good." "Thank you, Minister Shiyu. I heard that your daughter has some problems with the son of the Lightning Dragon Palace's Turtle Prime Minister?" The happy expression of the Winter Water Snake Overlord stopped abruptly. It said awkwardly, "It's like this. My daughter is really useless. Her talent is so good and she's so young, but she's actually obsessed with love. I've already locked her up to reflect." "How is the situation with that right now?" Shiyu asked. "Not good. It hasn't eaten in a long time. It said that when that Longevity Turtle is released from the underwater prison, it will be willing to eat. Our family is unlucky." The Winter Water Snake Overlord's eyes were filled with tears. What kind of sin was this? It was only 1 year old, only 1 year old. Shiyu was silent. He could understand the Winter Water Snake Overlord's mood. If anyone's daughter was already like this at the age of 1, as a father, he would definitely go crazy. Moreover, this was foreign love. But from the looks of it, the little princess of the Winter Water Snake race had pretty deep feelings for the blue turtle. "Can I take a look?" Shiyu asked. A moment later, Shiyu also saw the legendary proud Winter Water Snake between the cliffs where the little princess of the Winter Water Snake was imprisoned. Just like the Longevity Turtle, the fusion skill could be taught. At this moment, it was cold on the ice rock, relying on sleep to reduce the physical consumption of not eating. Shiyu looked around. Indeed, only the turtle race and the snake race could learn the fusion skill developed by Emperor Wu. As expected, it was more suitable to change this fusion skill to turtle-snake fusion and black tortoise fusion. "I'll wake it up now." Although the Winter Water Snake Overlord didn't know why Shiyu wanted to see its daughter, it was very happy. No matter what, Shiyu was half a father to its daughter. If this could be connected, wouldn't it take off? "There's no need," Shiyu said. "Winter Snake Overlord, have you thought about what will happen in the end if you don't stop it from developing with that Longevity Turtle?" The Winter Snake Overlord was stunned, not understanding what Shiyu meant. At this moment, Shiyu and Buggy's spirits had already invaded the dream of the little princess of the Winter Water Snake. Now, he also had to understand the thoughts of the little princess of the Winter Water Snake. After all, he couldn't randomly matchmake them. In the dream, the Winter Water Snake Princess's subconscious was looking at the human and the green dragon in front of her in confusion. "Do you like that longevity turtle?" Shiyu and the others went straight to the point. In Buggy's dream control, it was very difficult for the other party to lie. Even if it was lying, they could understand the other party's true thoughts. At this moment, when the little blue snake heard the young man's question, it was immediately angry. A trace of red appeared on its face as it turned around in disdain. Who would like a turtle? Shiyu and Buggy? Didn't the information say that it had a proud personality? This was clearly a proud personality. Why was its face red and its heart beating faster? In the outside world, Minister Shiyu, you mean, the Winter Water Overlord, was confused. Shiyu looked at it and said, "I'm just about to nurture a black tortoise. That longevity turtle and your daughter have the potential to evolve into black tortoise together. In the future, they might even be able to breed true god black tortoise. If I want to take them away from Dragon Palace City and let them train and grow together, I wonder if it's feasible." Shiyu planned to follow the thoughts of the other party's elders. After all, both parties were only 1 year old and very young. Once he brought them out, they would follow him for a longer time. The Winter Water Snake Overlord opened its mouth wide in shock. Shiyu wanted to nurture a black tortoise? It knew that Shiyu had already personally cultivated an orthodox green dragon. Now, he wanted to nurture a black tortoise? Moreover, he had chosen its daughter? You might not believe me, but I actually think very highly of them too. However, the rules of the longevity turtle race are strict. I don't have the power to change these at all, Minister Shiyu. My daughter's happiness depends on you, Minister. The Winter Water Snake Overlord cried. Shiyu? At the side, Buggy was silent. Why did it feel that the Turtle Prime Minister of the Thunder Dragon Palace would also say the same thing later? They were too real. Chapter 1124, 1124 Abnormal 2 New Pets. 1124 Abnormal 2 New Pets. Next, the Winter Water Snake Overlord followed Shiyu to the Ice Dragon Palace. It was nervous and excited along the way. It trusted Shiyu very much. After all, without Shiyu, its Winter Water Snake race would have been cut off. It was all thanks to Shiyu's miraculous revival that it could have descendants. It didn't know if Minister Shiyu had received the silk banner he had given him. It was 99% thanks to Shiyu that this daughter could be born, so it naturally had no objections to whatever Shiyu wanted. Moreover, this wasn't a bad thing. It was a huge good thing. After all, Shiyu had taken the little water snake away to nurture the black tortoise. Among the relatives of the transcendent creatures, there were actually far fewer strong emotions than the humans. The evolution of races was the strongest desire of transcendent creatures to reproduce in the next generation. The goal was to pass down their best genes. Then, he would let this race reach the peak one day. This was an obsession engraved in the bloodline genes of transcendent creatures. Now that there was a shortcut, it would be a waste not to take it. The Winter Water Snake Overlord had already decided. If the Thunder Dragon Palace's Turtle Prime Minister didn't know what was good for him, it would. It would. In the Ice Dragon Palace. After Shiyu and the Winter Water Snake Overlord arrived, they got the Turtle Prime Minister of the Ice Dragon Palace to call the Turtle Prime Minister of the Thunder Dragon Palace over. Lord Ice Dragon King. The Winter Water Snake followed Shiyu and looked at the Frost Demon Dragon carefully. It happened to be a race protected by the Ice Dragon King in the Ice Dragon King's domain. Ah. Ice Dragon nodded. The Winter Water Snake race was indeed beautiful. Its body was slender, and its entire body was covered in ice blue scales. Its abdomen was snow white, and its scales that were like snow clouds in winter covered both sides of its head. It was extremely beautiful. However, it still had a strange expression, not understanding why the longevity turtle liked snakes. But the difference in image was too big. As expected, there was a problem with the time fruit. It couldn't eat more in the future. This time, it's the genius tortoise that fell in love with the hack dragon, Shiyu muttered beside him. This made sense. Both parties were in the same egg group. Unfortunately, it wasn't the same set. However, if he really wanted to fall in love across races, it wasn't like Shiyu couldn't think of a way to reproduce. First, both parties evolved towards the dragon element and used the powerful genes of the dragon element to reproduce. Secondly, both parties used the black tortoise fusion technique to temporarily fuse and evolve into black tortoises. Then, they relied on the black tortoise state to reproduce the next generation of black tortoises. However, no matter what, both parties were no longer the longevity turtle and the winter water snake. Moreover, every method was very difficult for people other than Shiyu. Soon, the turtle prime minister of the Thunder Dragon Palace arrived. It was still stunned and didn't understand why the turtle prime minister of the Ice Dragon Palace had called it over. Could it be that the Ice Dragon planned to attack the Lightning Dragon Palace? This new Ice Dragon King had recently spread the faith of the Green Dragon in Dragon Palace City very violently. Several Dragon King's spheres of influence had been corroded. It even included the Golden Dragon King's territory. No, we have to protect Lord Lightning Dragon King's territory. No matter how many benefits the Ice Dragon King gives, we can't. Ah, Minister Shiyu. The Winter Water Snake Overlord is also here. At this moment, as they arrived at the Quas Dragon Palace, the Turtle Prime Minister of the Lightning Dragon Palace saw Shiyu and even the Winter Water Snake Overlord. He was immediately stunned again, not understanding the situation. I'm not looking for you, it's it. The Ice Dragon King saw that the Turtle Prime Minister of the Thunder Dragon Palace didn't look very smart and pointed at Shiyu. At this moment, after seeing the Wex Dragon Palace's Turtle Prime Minister, Shiyu smiled. Prime Minister Turtle, long time no see. I heard that after you used the time fruit, you finally have a son in your old age. Congratulations. Woo woo woo, thank you, Minister Shiyu. The Wex Dragon Palace's Turtle Prime Minister looked excited. Thank you so much. With such a huge favor, it would not hesitate to sacrifice a trace of Lord Wex Dragon King's benefits even if it had to climb a mountain of blades and go through a sea of flames. I heard that something happened between your son and the son of the Winter Water Snake Overlord? Shiyu looked at the Winter Water Snake and then at the Turtle Prime Minister. Upon hearing that, the Turtle Prime Minister was stunned. Then, it looked at the Winter Water Snake Overlord. Sigh, it's a long story. However, I've already controlled that kid in time. Next, I'll definitely let it study the Sage Book hard and assist the next Dragon King well. The Turtle Prime Minister's heart skipped a beat and he quickly said. No, I mean, there's actually no need to be so strict. Shiyu said, we can completely let our descendants fall in love freely and decide their future themselves. Prime Minister Turtle, huh? Ever since I cultivated one of the 4 holy beasts, the Green Dragon, I have the intention to nurture another black tortoise. Your descendants, the descendants of the Winter Water Snake Overlord, are the best partners in terms of compatibility. They have the potential to evolve into black tortoise together. In addition, they were all born because of my time fruit and are fated with me. If I want to take them away from Dragon Palace City and let them train and grow in the outside world together, I wonder what Prime Minister Turtle thinks. The Turtle Prime Minister was stunned and opened its mouth wide in shock. Holy shit! Black tortoise. Only then did Ice Dragon and the Quas Dragon Palace Prime Minister know what Shiyu wanted to do. Ice Dragon was immediately shocked. Why didn't Shiyu do anything humane all day? The Turtle Prime Minister of the Ice Dragon Palace was even more jealous. It was still young and wasn't in a hurry to have a child. If it had known, it would have given birth to a little turtle no matter what and tried its luck. In Dragon Palace City, the faith of the Green Dragon was popular, but apart from that, the Black Tortoise was also very famous. After all, in the ocean, apart from dragons, there were also turtles. Chapter 1125, 1125 The Abnormal 2 New Pets, 2. 1125 The Abnormal 2 New Pets, 2. The Turtle Prime Minister of the Wex Dragon Palace naturally knew what the Black Tortoise was. If it were anyone else who said this, it would definitely sneer, but the one who said this was Shi Yu. Shi Yu had indeed cultivated a real green dragon. The Overlord-level green dragon killed a totem-level hybrid Dragonman in one hit. It was invincible. It even easily defeated the eldest prince. It had heard this. These were the 4 holy beasts. If its descendants could evolve into a true god Black Tortoise, the Turtle Prime Minister didn't even dare to imagine it. After all, the Black Tortoise race was an existence more honorable than the previous dragon gods of Dragon Palace City. With a boom, the Turtle Prime Minister of the Wex Dragon Palace felt that a huge pie had hit its head. The Turtle Prime Minister cried, "Minister Shi Yu, you might not believe me, but I actually think very highly of them. However, the rules of the Longevity Turtle race and the Winter Water Snake race are strict. I don't have the power to change these at all, Minister Shi Yu. The happiness of my child depends on you, Minister. The life of parents is difficult. If Minister Shi Yu needs help, I won't hesitate to give up my old life." Winter Water Snake Overlord? Bullshit. The Winter Water Snake Overlord suspected that the other party had copied its lines, but there was no evidence. Shi Yu and Buggy? In other words, you guys are actually okay with it, right? Shi Yu asked. Of course. The Turtle Prime Minister and the Winter Water Snake Overlord looked at each other. Was there a problem? No. After a moment of silence, Shi Yu said, "Then there's no problem. Next, I'll take them away directly. Moreover." Shi Yu revealed a hearty smile and said, "I don't plan to let them know all of this first. I'll train them alone first to test the determination of both parties. Only if they can survive the training together will I do my best to nurture them. Therefore, the 2 of you have to be mentally prepared. They can be sent back at any time." Gulp. The Turtle Prime Minister and the Winter Water Snake Overlord of the Wex Dragon Palace were extremely nervous. Shi Yu said, "But don't worry, they're still children. I won't give them too strict training. It's just some basic training that the new pets in my team have to undergo. No problem, right?" The Turtle Prime Minister and the Winter Water Snake Overlord of the Wex Dragon Palace heaved a sigh of relief. Their descendants were all geniuses. It was just basic training, so it shouldn't be a problem. Of course not. Minister Shi Yu, just treat it as your child, the Turtle Prime Minister said. Same, the Winter Water Snake Overlord said. Shi Yu? No way. Would a normal person torture their child? But there was definitely no psychological pressure to train a blue tortoise in love. Then it's decided. In the deep-sea prison, the unconscious little longevity turtle, in the forbidden area of the winter water floating island, the little winter water snake, which had fallen asleep to offset its hunger, was put into the legendary ruins with a mysterious power with an even harsher environment. This ruin was the battlefield of Little G and Ducky. The chaotic sea area and the dry land were not good places for sea creatures or land creatures. A long time later, the winter water snake on the chaotic island woke up immediately. After waking up and sensing the unfamiliar environment around it, it looked around in a panic and saw Shi Yu sitting on the huge rock beside it. Wuwutilda the winter water snake looked at Shi Yu cautiously. It kept feeling that Shi Yu was a little familiar. It seemed to have seen it in a dream. It recalled carefully and suddenly recalled that there seemed to be a person who had asked it if it liked the longevity turtle. Don't be nervous, Shi Yu said with a smile as he looked at it. Let me introduce myself. I'm the Minister of the Ocean Environmental Protection Department of Dragon Palace City, Shi Yu. I don't know if you've heard of me, but it's all right if you don't. Now that you're no longer in the forbidden area of the island, you were sent to me. The winter water snake was stunned. It felt that it had indeed heard of the name Shi Yu. It could be said that without Shi Yu, without baby ginseng's time fruit, there wouldn't be it. Therefore, the winter water snake overlord always mentioned Shi Yu, so it naturally remembered the name Shi Yu. I heard about you and that longevity turtle. I can help you. Shi Yu smiled. Winter water snake. Wutilda? The winter water snake looked at Shi Yu. Could Shiyu save the longevity turtle from the deep-sea prison? Of course, that's not a problem. Not only that, I can also let you guys be together. Wu Tilda. The winter water snake's body stiffened. It turned its head, indicating that it couldn't understand what Shiyu was saying. Shiyu? Shiyu looked at the winter water snake and said, "However, I can only help you a portion. In the end, you were stopped because your strength isn't strong enough and you don't have the right to make your own decisions. I can give you a venue to become stronger, a way to become stronger, and resources to become stronger. If your strength can be on par with the Totem Dragon King, I believe no one will stop you. In another place, the longevity turtle will also face the same test. I'll become your temporary beast tamer and let you undergo training in the Environmental Protection Department. Whether you can become stronger depends on yourselves. So, are you willing to accept the test?" Wu Tilda. At this moment, the winter water snake was stunned. It suddenly looked at Shiyu seriously. Chapter 1126, 1126 The Abnormal 2 New Pets, 3. 1126 The Abnormal 2 New Pets, 3. Really? Minister Shiyu was willing to guide it to become stronger? Of course. The winter water snake's gaze became even more serious. Although it didn't know why Shiyu was willing to help it. However, this opportunity was rare. It indeed had a good impression of the longevity turtle, but after this incident, it also made the winter water snake understand that strength was the most important. It had nothing to do with the turtle. It just wanted to become stronger and control its fate. It hoped that Shiyu could train it. It wanted to become an existence like the dragon god. Before that, it no longer planned to date. Love would only drag it down in its footsteps to become stronger. It was relieved that the longevity turtle was fine. As for them, unless the longevity turtle could catch up to it, it would wait for the longevity turtle, hoping that the other party would have the same determination as it. In addition, in return, it would serve the Environmental Protection Department and Minister Shiyu well. At this moment, Shiyu sensed the change in the winter water snake's mood. He couldn't help but have a strange expression. He kept feeling that something was wrong. Just now, it was still a romance template. Why did it suddenly seem to have awakened some female lead and strong woman template? Forget it, things had already come to this. Let's leave it to the longevity turtle to have a headache. We'll take it one step at a time. Shiyu said, "All right, from today onwards, you will train here with my spirit clone." On the other side, the longevity turtle was also shaken awake by Shiyu. After waking up and discovering that it was in a special environment and on the dry ground, the longevity turtle was also shocked. It suddenly shrank into its shell and slowly stuck its head out. It looked around nervously and saw Shiyu. The longevity turtle still had an impression of Shiyu. It was the strange life form that had suddenly entered prison. Who? Who? It retreated again and looked at Shiyu cautiously, asking what Shiyu wanted to do to it. After the introduction, the longevity turtle was shocked. Who? Who? Minister of the Environmental Protection Department. Unlike the winter water snake, the longevity turtle was a relatively long-lived and smart race. It was also the most knowledgeable race in the faction of Dragon Palace City. Because to assist the Dragon King, not only did they have to train their strength to grow quickly, but they also had to learn a lot of knowledge. Although this longevity turtle was only a year old and had yet to start learning knowledge systematically, its knowledge reserves were not what ordinary sea beasts could compare to. Compared to the winter water snake, it knew Shiyu's status in Dragon Palace City better. Moreover, the Turtle Prime Minister of the Thunder Dragon Palace had mentioned Shiyu in front of it many times. It could be said that the transcendent lives born in Dragon Palace City because of the time fruit had more or less heard their parents mention Shiyu. After all, he was Dr. Shu. At this moment, the little longevity turtle also didn't understand why a big shot like Shiyu would look for it. To put it bluntly, I like your potential. In addition, you were born because of me. We're very fated. In the future, I might need your help in some things, but the premise is that you can become better. I'll give you a chance to become stronger and let you train beside me. Think about it. Shiyu smiled and said, by the way, if you become stronger, you'll have the ability to break some of the rules of the Dragon Palace and pursue your true love. The longevity turtle was stunned. Then, seawater spread from its eyes. After so long, was there finally someone who could understand it? It just wanted to pursue true love. What was wrong with that? Not only did its family not understand, but the outside world also didn't understand, let alone the Dragon Palace. But he didn't expect that there was actually someone willing to help it. Who? It directly made a loyalty gesture to Shiyu that only Prime Minister Turtle would do to assist the Dragon Kings. Its eyes were firm. Please give it a chance to become stronger and break through the restraints. It would definitely become the most reliable Turtle Prime Minister and assist Minister Shiyu in obtaining the position of Dragon God in Dragon Palace City. Shiyu? Wait, the thing I want your help with isn't usurping the throne. The longevity turtle covered its mouth and nodded. I understand. I can't say it out loud. We have to quietly turn it upside down. Chapter 1127, 1127 Little G Duck's Quasi-Divine Skill. 1127 Little G Duck's Quasi-Divine Skill. After coming into contact with the winter water snake and the longevity turtle one by one, Shiyu was certain that two more problematic children had come. However, he had already received the goods. Shiyu, who found it troublesome, couldn't be bothered to return the goods. Next, just as he had planned at the start, Shiyu didn't plan to let them meet early. After all, only by separating the two places could one have the motivation to become stronger. With a goal, it was easier to train resistance. At the moment, the will levels of the winter water snake and the longevity turtle were both low. Shiyu could still accept it. After all, the two little guys were only a year old. It was abnormal for their resistance levels to be too high. It was already very good to have low-level resistance at this age. Shiyu planned to train them to medium resistance before contracting them and teaching them the system. Emperor Wu's Black Tortoise Fusion was a super skill. At the very least, it would only be easy to teach it to a middle-level resistance. Next, your training goal is to conquer the land. In the legendary ruins, on an island, Shiyu said to the winter water snake. The winter water snake looked confused, indicating that it didn't understand. Not far away, a drought envelopes the ground, and even a trace of water will be evaporated. The hot magma devours the ocean like a demon. That's a very harsh environment. You have to train in that harsh environment. Woo, after being stunned, the winter water snake nodded slightly with a firm gaze. Named Winter Water Snake. Attributes: Water, Ice. Race level: Low-level Overlord. Level of growth: Commander. Race skill: Quas Gravel, low-level Ice Element skill, Water Spear, low-level Water Element skill, Quas Tail, intermediate-level Ice Element skill, Frost Water, intermediate-level Water Element skill, Blizzard, high-level Ice Element skill, Chi-Yu, high-level Water Element skill, Absolute Zero, Ice Element Super skill, Vortex Strangulation, Water Element Super skill. The winter water snakes weren't a race that was good at attacking. Their super race skills were inclined towards support. For example, Absolute Zero was an Ice Element domain skill that froze energy flow and spirit activity. Apart from that, their high-level skills were also mainly weather skills. In a real battle, it was definitely weaker among Overlord races. Therefore, Shiyu planned to let it resist the harsh natural environment to train its resistance first. This way, it would be more efficient and he could also practice these support skills. Fighting the weather in Little G's territory was also an extremely difficult special training. I'll take you to the land to take a look first. On the other side of the legendary ruins, Shiyu's other psychic clone was correcting the thoughts of the young turtle prime minister with incorrect awareness and political positions. Who? Upon hearing Shiyu's denial, the longevity turtle gradually became clear. Too small. It was still too narrow-minded. Minister Shiyu was a human. Compared to the position of Dragon God in Dragon Palace City, he definitely still wanted to be the big boss of Dong Huang. It secretly gave Shi Yu a thumbs up. He had to assist Shi Yu well. Only such an ambitious lord was worth following. You're still too full. The training in the underwater prison doesn't seem to be enough for you. Shi Yu and the longevity turtle were at the border between the dry land and the ocean. Shi Yu pointed at the sea opposite and said, "Do you see over there?" After the longevity turtle turned around, it nodded. The calm Tai-Hai Sea. Boom! Just as it finished speaking, dark clouds filled the sky in the distance. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. A monstrous black rainstorm descended, raising a tsunami more than 10 meters tall, drowning an island and shattering the island. The island sank, and a huge vortex condensed, devouring all the shattered rocks around it. A moment later, the sea returned to calm, and the world was peaceful. The longevity turtle. Who or the longevity turtle retreated? Why did it feel that it was even more dangerous than an underwater prison? Of course. The people on the 0.5th floor of the underwater prison are all second-generation heirs. Can they really put you in danger? Shi Yu muttered in his heart. The environment on the 1st to 6th floors of the underwater prison was much harsher than the 0.5th floor. It was just a small black room on level 0.5. Next, your training goal is to conquer the ocean. In this sea area, a storm interferes with the calm of the sea area. The aura of the demon god destroys the peace of the water element. It's a very harsh natural environment. You have to train in this harsh environment. With the goal of becoming a water god, calm the roar of the sea. Who? The longevity turtle also revealed a determined expression, indicating that there was no problem. How could the sea be peaceful? How could there be true love? Name a longevity turtle. Stats: water. Race level: high-level monarch. Level of growth: commander. Race skill: water spear, low-level water element skill, spin impact, low-level water element skill, spirit water, intermediate level water element skill, water shield wall, high-level water element skill, guardian water, high-level water element skill, water of life, water element super skill. As for the longevity tortoise, Shi Yu's training content was also very simple. After all, the longevity tortoise was even less good at battle than the winter water snake. After calculations, the longevity tortoise only had 2 attack skills, and they were all low level. One relied on the turtle to spew water, and the other relied on the shell to fight head-on. Compared to combatants, it was also more like a support. The spirit water could increase energy and reduce fatigue, and the water of life could be treated. It had nothing to do with battle. However, that was in the past. Even baby ginseng could be cultivated into a combatant. There was nothing impossible with Shi Yu. One was a longevity turtle, and the other was a winter water snake. Sooner or later, Shi Yu would have to cultivate them into real black tortoises. Chapter 1128 Little G Duck's Quasi-Divine Skill, 2. 1128 Little G Duck's Quasi-Divine Skill, 2. Let's swim around first, Shi Yu said as he pointed at the sea that had become the chaotic sea due to the interference of the duck's power. Who? The longevity turtle jumped into the water with a bang. Just like that, the winter water snake and the longevity turtle immediately began the team entry test. However, Shi Yu's clone, who was standing on the shore, forgot to tell them that the natural environment here was not static. Every once in a while, 2 monsters would enter to fight. They also had to withstand the terrifying pressure from the aftermath of the other party's battle. After taking away the winter water snake and the longevity turtle, Shi Yu didn't stay in Dragon Palace City for long. However, before leaving, he gave the Wex Dragon Palace's longevity turtle and the winter water snake overlord a few more time fruits with stronger effects. It meant that he was embarrassed to take away their new child. If you guys are lonely, strike while the iron is hot. Have 2 more. In any case, this pair couldn't expect to reproduce normally for them. Aha! After bidding farewell to Dragon Palace City, Shi Yu began to return to Pingcheng. During this period, his main training target was Little Ji and Ducky of the second team. He planned to completely unearth Little Ji and Ducky's divine power. Little Ji relied on the mythical revival to awaken the quasi-divine skill of the Earth Divine Dragon's vibration law, while Ducky relied on the power of the Abyss Liberation and the Reincarnation Fruit to unearth the Abyss Seed to awaken the quasi-divine skill of its previous life. As for the pets in Team 1, they weren't in a hurry to add points. Apart from the few new skills that 11 had awakened that needed to be added points, their skills were basically already maxed out. Unless they broke through to the totem level, there was no more to add. They were all in a bottleneck state. Shi Yu's hard work caused him to become a hindrance again. As expected, the hard work of most individuals would only make others better. In this situation, their training content was to train faith skills and quasi-divine skills themselves. Buggy continued to condense the meteorite, and Susu continued to condense the sea cleansing spirit. As for 11, Baby Ginseng, Kai Tong, and Ling, they used the background of the first revival of the laws to quickly deepen their understanding of the use of the power of laws. In the training of quasi-divine skills, comprehending the laws of heaven and earth was the most important. The importance of comprehension was greater than normal training. With the help of the World Tree Fruit, there would be no problem with their comprehension. Therefore, after returning to Pingcheng, Shi Yu immediately started to call Little Ji and Ducky. As Shi Yu took off his coat and threw it on the sofa, he went to take the drink from the fridge and said telepathically, after the additional points are added, "Be careful when you go to the ruins to fight and experiment with skills. I've put 2 newbies in." The 2 pets expressed that there was no problem, but Shi Yu was still worried. He sighed. Forget it, he had his psychic clone watching inside anyway. "Prepare yourselves. After I finish eating. Add points, begin." At the same time that he added points to his pet, Shi Yu also entered a high-intensity meditation mode. He charged to level 8 and prepared for the battle with Yunnan in this space and time. Shi Yu also paid extra attention to the alliance meeting that President Lin and Shi Yu had mentioned previously. After all, he might face a divine beast. During this period of time, the establishment of the Blue Planet Alliance was the most attention-grabbing thing on Blue Planet at the moment. Not only was the 7-Nation Alliance advancing impetus, but the totem countries were also paying attention. Although President Lin had already discussed it with Shi Yu in advance, the official meeting voting and official announcement had yet to be carried out. During Shi Yu's bitter cultivation, President Lin held an online meeting. The 10 titled legends of Dong Huang, including Shi Yu, were all invited. Among them, apart from the 2 newbies, Shi Yu and Lu Qingyi, who had obtained their titles at level 7, the other 8 were all level 8 beast tamers. The unified characteristic of these people was that they all had the battle power to resist and even defeat totem level. They were considered an important part of Dong Huang's high-end battle power. Apart from that, the Mechanical Army, Forbidden Arms, and the National Guardian were all Dong Huang's confidence as a superpower. "Master, it's about to begin." After Shi Yu's little secretary, Ling, helped Shi Yu enter the meeting, she whispered to Shi Yu, who was meditating beside her. Yes. This was the first time Shi Yu had participated in such a high-end meeting. They were all titled legends. However, it was nothing. He was relatively familiar with a few of the 9 people here. This time, it was basically just a formality. Dr. Shi Yu is here this time too. Before the meeting started, an old man in a grey formal suit said. Gold legend, Jiang Wenju, the richest man in Dong Huang, and 3 of the 5 major financial groups in Dong Huang were all related to him. He was known as the richest titled legend. Most of the pet skills were paywall skills, so his battle power was very strong. The cat's paywall skill was probably inspired by him. Shi Yu looked at the screen of the richest man, Jiang Shoufu. His impression of him was that one of the other party's juniors, Jiang Qianyang, was a sequence beast tamer. As for him, Shi Yu had never come into contact with him much. It should be a deliberate restriction from the association. After all, Shi Yu was considered a beast tamer of the official system, and the 5 major financial groups were equivalent to civilian capital. It's indeed rare. The legend of the tyrannical sea, Yu Hui, was also very surprised. After all, in recent times, there had been at least 5 meetings. This was the first time Shi Yu had appeared. The first rank Yixing's grandfather, the titled legend Yi Bing, who led the 3 major armies of the Beast Tamer troops, also looked at Shi Yu's screen. The 4 armies under Shi Yu had developed rapidly recently. Among them, the latest information about the iron-eating beast core shocked him. Chapter 1129 Little G Duck's Quasi-Divine Skill, 3. 1129 Little G Duck's Quasi-Divine Skill, 3. Heavenly King Du Ruo, Dr. Shi Yu is at the high-speed stage of growth. It's a bad thing to be involved in a large number of things like us too early. For example, Qingyi is clearly young, but she looks much more haggard recently. Lu Qingyi, it's all right. She could still accept finding divine beasts. It was similar to archaeology. It was really tiring, but at least it wouldn't be boring. It was much more interesting than guarding a certain place. Hello, seniors. Shi Yu smiled and said, I've been busy cultivating recently. Everyone believed it, but they also suspected something. Shi Yu was from Bureau 11. As an archaeologist, he didn't look like he could cultivate obediently no matter how they looked at it. After disappearing for so many days, didn't he really go somewhere to explore ruins? If he was just cultivating, was there a need to miss the meeting? At this moment, President Lin saw that the time was up and started to speak. The content of this meeting is about the alliance meeting. I believe everyone has already heard that the 7 countries are going to send a titled beast tamer to participate in the battle. After careful consideration, I plan to recommend Shi Yu to represent Dong Huang in the battle. In this alliance meeting, battle power is the main criterion. Everyone has seen Shi Yu's strength. Next, we'll vote. If anyone has a better choice, you're welcome to discuss it. As President Lin finished speaking, everyone was silent. Before Shi Yu became a titled legend, the strongest titled legend in Dong Huang was President Lin. This kind of meeting was actually basically for the presidents of the various countries to go. In the end, President Lin didn't go himself and chose to let Shi Yu go. What else could everyone say? Even President Lin felt that Shi Yu was stronger than him now. They naturally didn't think that Shi Yu didn't have this qualification. Shi Yu, who had contracted a mythical race pet, was undoubtedly the strongest below the legendary level under the one-on-one rules. The rules this time were a dual pet 1vs1 system. Every beast tamer could at most have 2 summoning slots in each battle. They could choose 2 out of all the pets they contracted to fight, but in battle, they could at most send 1 pet to participate in the battle and fight one-on-one with the other party's pet. Only when one side lost its ability to fight could they change pets. If either side's 2 pets lost their ability to fight, they would lose. President Lin must have also considered this kind of big matter that concerned the national interest carefully. Moreover, not many people present thought that their strength under such rules would steadily defeat Shi Yu. Soon, the matter of Shi Yu representing Dong Huang in the alliance meeting was unanimously approved by Dong Huang's top battle power. Moreover, 3 days later, the 7 countries made a world official announcement. The alliance meeting this time would be broadcasted live to the 7 countries. After all, the competition this time was for worldwide influence. It could be said to make up for the regret that Shi Yu's world competition couldn't be broadcasted live. That time, the main competition had ended before it even started. He had yet to tell the world tree. Damn it. Hey, what a joke. 3 days later, after the news was broadcasted, countless beast tamers held their cell phones with incredulous expressions. The Blue Planet Alliance is about to be established. The members of the former 7-Nation Alliance will each send a beast tamer to participate in the alliance meet to represent their country in the pinnacle battle. What was a pinnacle battle? According to the list announced by the 7-Nation Alliance, Shen Feng sent the beast tamer, the president of the Shen Feng National Association, and the mechanical god of war, Logan. Ming Hua sent the beast tamer, the president of the Ming Hua Association, Reincarnator Ashaya. Rongguang sent the beast tamer, the Pope of the Divine Church of Light, the Son of Light, Ralph. These names made the beast tamers of Dong Huang curse. It was really a pinnacle battle. They were just short of making the legendaries of the various countries directly fight. This was simply calling out the strongest beast tamer below the legendary level in various countries. What were they doing? Moreover, what shocked everyone the most was that on Dong Huang's side, the one representing Dong Huang was not the mysterious President Lin, but another person. Dong Huang sent the beast tamer, the world legend, Shi Yu. The beast tamers representing Snowfield, Shenfeng, Minghua, and the Seven Islands are all the current presidents of the associations. Rongguang is the Pope of the Divine Church of Light, and Tingxiang's is an unknown sprite name. Our Dong Huang is Dr. Shi Yu. What's going on? Has Dr. Shi Yu usurped the throne? According to the formation, shouldn't it be President Lin? I've long felt that he has a little too many dreams. It's abnormal. Is there a possibility that Dr. Shi Yu's strength has already exceeded President Lin and is more suitable to represent Dong Huang in battle? Is President Lin sick? I feel that Marshal Yi is more suitable. The content of the official announcement this time, be it outsiders or experts, was a very interesting topic. There were very few public battles of this level. Moreover, there was a titled legend who could be said to be the strongest in every country who wanted to fight at the alliance meet. It was simply ridiculous. Coupled with the establishment of the Blue Planet Alliance and the changes in the Seven Nation Alliance, many people guessed that this battle might decide something. Therefore, the strongest titled legend of the 7 countries represented them in the battle. It has actually grown to this extent? However, looking at the name list, many people still didn't react. It was very unbelievable that Shi Yu could represent Dong Huang in the battle. After all, looking at the representative list of the other countries, they were all the number 1 people below the legendary level in the various countries. When it came to Dong Huang, it immediately became a young man. Although Shi Yu's battle results from the Inatella World Tournament half a year ago were incomparably shocking, President Lin and the others had long become famous outside. In the hearts of the older generation, their recognition was even deeper. Chapter 1130 Little G Duck's Quasi-Divine Skill, 4. 1130 Little G Duck's Quasi-Divine Skill, 4. President Lin had already been the president of the Dong Huang Association for 100 years. 100 years ago, he had the battle record of hunting totems and obtaining a title. It could be said that he had grown up with Dong Huang and was even a descendant of Lin Feng's legendary. He had always been known to the outside world as the number 1 person below Dong Huang's legendary. The other beast tamers who represented them were also the strongest legends of the various countries who had been famous for decades. Even Minghua's reincarnator, Ashaya, had lived a second life and was a reincarnation. In her previous life, she was already a very famous ancient legend in Minghua, so it was very difficult for everyone to not think too much about this list. To put it bluntly, although Shi Yu was a genius, because he was too young, the World Tournament was also a competition of the younger generation, making many people have an inherent prejudice impression. Even if Shi Yu's battle results were already very out of reach, they were still more willing to believe in the deeply rooted authority. At that moment, no matter how stormy the outside world was, Shi Yu still buried his head in cultivation and began to crazily add points to Little G and Ducky. He first revived Little G's mythical revival and pointed it at the transcendent level. When Shi Yu upgraded Little G's mythical revival to perfect level, it completed a new round of transformation, the evolution of a god. In the legendary ruins, under the vibration of the sound of laws, the entire ruin, the ground, and the ocean trembled violently. If not for the fact that Shi Yu hurriedly protected Little Quass and the turtle, they would definitely have fainted from fright. Name: Catastrophe. Stats: Earth, Space. Level: Quasi-God level. Introduction: with the help of the vibration law, it triggered the vibration of the natural and spatial power of the planet and swept up a world-destroying disaster. After the mythical revival reached perfection, Little G successfully awakened a quasi-divine skill that contained the vibration law. This skill was considered a high-level skill of a series of vibration-type skills such as Earthquake and Spacequake. Even among the many divine skills, the destructive power was very terrifying. In terms of the large-scale destructive power caused, the effect was even above the immortal slaying sword formation and the yin-yang millstone. It was a large-scale skill at the country-destroying level, just like the Dragon Star group. As Shiyu raised the mythical revival to transcendent, the proficiency of the cataclysm also reached the proficient level. For the time being, it wasn't that difficult to control crowd control. Little G's strength had been strengthened by the epic level. Although he had yet to upgrade other super skills, he finally had the ability to compete with the first team. Then, Shiyu opened it and added points to Ducky. He mainly added points to its Abyss Liberation and Demon Subduing Pestle to nearly Transcendent. At the same time, with the help of the Reincarnation Fruit, he completely stimulated the Divine Level Abyss power contained in the Divine Level resource, the Abyss Seed. Under the enhancement of the Abyss Liberation and the neutralization of the Demon Subduing Pestle, Ducky also successfully completed its Divine Evolution at the Overlord level and awakened the Quasi-Divine skill from its previous life. Named Heart of the Abyss. Stats: Dark, Water. Level: Quasi-God level. Introduction: It contains the corrosion law and condenses all the power of the Abyss into a heart and blood. By corroding one's rationality, it accelerates the beating of the heart and the flow of blood to obtain a super strong eruption. In the state of the Abyss Heart, the attack has the corrosion effect. It will increase the enemy's consumption and damage. Be it Little G or Ducky's newly awakened quasi-divine skills, they were both the type that gave Shiyu a headache. The former's destructive power was too great, and it was even harder to control than the Dragon Star group. If not for the fact that he had relied on mythical revival to increase it to the proficient level, Shiyu definitely wouldn't have dared to let Little G use it randomly. This guy had a history of hitting his own people with an earthquake. As for Ducky's skill, it was the same as Little G's reverse scale. It was a powerful power exchanged by sacrificing its rationality. After sacrificing its rationality, it would activate several times its battle talent and strength. It was a very dangerous move. If it weren't for the fact that Shiyu had maxed out the Demon Subduing Pestle and maxed out the Heart Sword, Purification, and other skills, Ducky definitely wouldn't be able to control this skill at the Overlord level. A month was neither fast nor slow. Shiyu felt that before he could do anything, time had slipped away in the blink of an eye. Even Little G and Ducky's other super skills had yet to be maxed out. However, it was already very close. Shiyu obtained bad benefits through their attribute feedback. Their strength also had top-notch totem battle power. At this stage, Shiyu decisively didn't dare to let them fight randomly. It was fine if Ducky went berserk, but if Little G went berserk, Icefield City might not exist anymore. The next day, when it was time to meet President Lin, Shiyu rode his beloved aerial battleship to the sky above Alliance Island. "Shiyu, are you here?" In the blue sky, Shiyu stood on the battleship and picked up President Lin's call. "We are here." "I'll go down now." "Come on." President Lin was silent and did as he pleased. During this period of time, he had thought of taking a few days to call a few Guardians to be Shiyu's sparring partner and help him prepare for the Alliance meeting. Unfortunately, it was rejected by Shiyu. It made President Lin feel that his good intentions had been treated as ill intentions. This was because in Shiyu's words at that time, it was more suitable to let Divine Source Legendary be a sparring partner. However, it was impossible for Divine Source Legendary to be the sparring partner. In order to have a longer lifespan, Divine Source Legendary modified itself into a mechanical life form. Every time it woke up and fought, it needed to consume a lot of energy. It could only use longer sleep to make up for the consumption. It was too extravagant to be a sparring partner. Seeing that Shiyu was confident, President Lin didn't force it. After all, Shiyu's answer to him was that he was invincible below the demigod level in 1vs1. The Alliance meeting was about to begin. At this moment, the gazes of the world focused on the Alliance Island. Shiyu slowly landed here. In a luxurious building in the Donghuang area, Shiyu, who was wearing a panda casual shirt, casually knocked on the door. After waiting for an answer, he entered and greeted the young man inside. "President Lin, you don't look old even if you work all day. Are there any more of the resources you eat? Give me 2. President Lin? You ate the eternal flower, why do you still need such resources? Shiyu, it's not bad to give it away as a gift. No, President Lin's face darkened. There's really no more, Shiyu said. He would go to the parallel universe another day to intercept its resources. Forget it, it was immoral. However, he could bring the undying fruit of the Phoenix Mystic Realm. If it weren't for the fact that the Phoenix Mystic Realm hadn't been established by the Undying Dark Phoenix before the Empress era in the Emperor Wu era, he would have gone to the Seven Islands to fly no matter what. After all, it was a divine-level resource. That's it. Did you look at the information I sent you seriously? President Lin asked. Although some of the pet information representing beast tamers from these countries is dozens or tens of years ago, it still has some reference value. Apart from that, you have to be careful of the new pets they might contract, such as the angel god of the Rongguang Pontiff. The other party must have already kept this information strictly confidential. In addition, your information will definitely be a key research subject of the various countries. When the time comes, you have to be especially careful. If you encounter a bitter battle and an accident happens, there's no need to force a victory. Don't hurt yourself because of this. This Alliance Conference is only fighting for mid to low-level rights. It's important, but not that important. It's definitely not as important as you. Shiyu nodded, but he felt that his information had even less reference value. The version update was too fast. The second team already had a mythical race at the Overlord level. Who could have expected this? Then I'll start the second team and give them a surprise, Shiyu said with a smile. President Lin? Although I said it's not important, you don't have to take it seriously, right? How could the second team do this? Shiyu said, it's the original mechanical tyrant dragon and the abyss demon duck. Their strength isn't much different from the first team now. They've both evolved into mythical races and awakened quasi-divine skills. In addition, the mental resonance I learned from Lu Qingyi is rarely matched at the level of top-notch totem battle power. Moreover, there's still the first team at the back. If they attack later, they can also fight the opponent more specifically to avoid being targeted by the opponent. What did you say? President Lin was stunned again. F*CK, the second team was already at the mythical race overlord level? What had he been doing this month? He looked at Shiyu seriously and realized that Shiyu didn't seem to be kidding. Forget it, it's good that we can win. President Lin immediately fell silent. Damn it, when the various countries were still flirting with the divine beasts, Shiyu actually even made the second team a mythical race. It was too much. This time, he wanted to watch the presidents of the associations of other countries get beaten up in the audience. Chapter 1131 Too Cruel, Too Cruel. 1131 Too Cruel, Too Cruel. Alliance Calendar, August 1st, 180. Location, Alliance Island. Weather, clear sky. 5-colored fireworks bloomed in the sky everywhere. This alliance meeting was actually equivalent to a mobilization. In order to establish the Blue Planet Alliance, they mobilized the world. During the World Tournament, the countries already knew that the mythical era was about to return. However, after that, the various countries didn't inform the entire country immediately. After all, there was no benefit in telling too early. It would only cause chaos. Every country still needed sufficient time to prepare. Therefore, what they knew were secrets known by a small number of high-level beast tamers. Ordinary beast tamers knew nothing about this. But as the first law revived, changes occurred all over the world. The news that the mythical era was about to return couldn't be hidden no matter what. It could be said that this alliance conference was the stage for the various countries to officially announce the return of the mythical era. For this meeting, the 7 countries worked together. The beast tamers of the 7 countries who originally didn't have a deep connection could see the live broadcast of the alliance meeting on television, computers, and cell phones. At this moment, in Donghuang, the major television stations were broadcasting the opening of the alliance meeting. The major live broadcast applications on the internet also placed the alliance meeting's live broadcast in the main recommendation slot. Under the push of the policies of the various countries, various departments, universities, and major channels were broadcasting the venue of the Alliance meeting live. It could be said to be the focus of the world. There weren't many people in the venue. They were basically beast tamers from various countries guarding Alliance Island. Under the camera, the presidents of the 7 countries sat down one by one, making the beast tamers of the various countries excited and curious. Most beast tamers actually didn't know much about the presidents of the beast tamer associations of the various countries. Even they didn't know much about their countries. But it didn't stop them from knowing that these 7 people could be said to be beast tamers who stood at the peak below the legendaries of the 7 countries. Lin Xiao, president of the Beast Tamer Association of Dong Huang. Orland? Ishaya? Under the camera, the presidents of the various countries were introduced. Then, they began to speak one by one, announcing the complete return of the mythical era and the intention and goal of the 7 countries to establish the Blue Planet Alliance. 9 months ago, in the Kingdom of Glory, at the World Archaeological Conference, archaeologist Xiyu from Dong Huang used his archaeological results to lift a corner of the world's future. The mythical era that was lost in history is about to revive in the near future. Now, there are already gods from the mythical era waking up all over the world. Even back in Inatella, there were gods who were awakened by the World Tree and participated in the trial of the World Tournament. In this magnificent era that hasn't happened in billions of years, we will be the first batch to enter. In the unknown era, there are endless opportunities and crises. Only by cooperating can we welcome better development. Beast tamers who knew the inside story were all right, but those who didn't, especially the normal beast tamers, were stunned when they heard the official announcement. The potato chips in his hand fell to the ground, and the soda in his hand squeezed out of the paper cup. Holy shit! Everyone was stunned. What did they hear? The mythical era? It was about to descend? The era described in the movies, the divine beasts, gods, and mythical novels, was about to return. You're kidding? I can also witness history? Really? I'm a little panicked. No matter what, long live peace. The descent of the mythical era is definitely a good thing. At this moment, the world trembled. The various forums of the various countries were farmed out immediately. Those who participated in the world competition finally heaved a sigh of relief. They could finally talk. In Dong Huang, the bad girl Reu, who had encountered the reincarnation of the spider god, was also watching the live broadcast with the spider god. They had already been convinced to join the Dong Huang Association. They naturally knew about the mythical revival long ago, but watching the live broadcast now was still a different pleasure. The spider girl pointed at President Lin Xiao on the television and said, the information on the return of the mythical era was actually developed by the previous human archaeologist. I thought it would be the World Tree or other gods who told humans. Therefore, Legend Xiyu is indeed very strong. The presidents of the other countries personally participate in the battle, but Dong Huang sent him, the bad girl, Reu, said. That's for sure. The corners of the spider god's mouth twitched. That was a quasi-divine skill that contained the prototype of a top-notch law. Even if it was a god of the same level, it wasn't easy to defeat that black and white bear. Just watch. If the pets of the other presidents were only mortal spirits, they would definitely be killed by that black and white bear. The return information of the mythical era was actually developed by archaeologists. Most of the low-level beast tamers of the 7 countries were very shocked. Not long ago, the revival of laws and the sound of laws resounded throughout the world. Everyone realized that something had changed on Blue Planet. Everyone thought that the 7 countries had hurriedly convened the alliance meeting because of the mythical revival deduced from this time. He never expected that 9 months ago, at some world archaeological conference, archaeologists would determine the exact time of the mythical revival. Dong Huang, archaeologist, Xiyu. Everyone was familiar with this name. It was said that this batch of world legends had killed 2 totem-level foreign races from the totem country in the world tournament and ended the competition in the preliminaries. How could they be unfamiliar? Chapter 1132, 1132 Too Cruel, Too Cruel, Too. 1132 Too cruel, too cruel, too. Apart from that, Dong Huang had also traded the mechanical Phantom Beast technology to the other 6 countries at a certain price. The mechanical Phantom Beast technology rose in the various countries. The name of Shi Yu, the father of the mechanical Phantom Beast, couldn't be unfamiliar to most beast tamers of the 7 countries. At this moment, more people understood why Dong Huang had sent Shi Yu to represent Dong Huang and not President Lin. This Shi Yu's resume was really strong. Before accepting the blessing of the World Tree, he could kill totems and learn the information of the mythical era early. Now that more than half a year had passed, it was only natural for him to become stronger. Not only that, there were also contestants who participated and watched the World Tournament. From the beginning to the end, they sneered. This Shi Yu was far more ridiculous than everyone imagined. After all, when he won the World Tournament, he wasn't even a level 7 beast tamer. Now that so much time had passed, who knew how strong Shi Yu, who had obtained a pile of divine inheritance, was? However, some countries didn't panic. Although Shi Yu was in the lead previously, fortunately, times had changed. For example, Rongguang obtained super battle power. Who would have thought that the angel contracted by the Holy Emperor was actually the reincarnation of a god? Moreover, he had made a deal with Rongguang and promised to help Rongguang participate in this alliance meeting. Rongguang also showed the angel god the recorded video of the World Tournament. The angel god was very calm about the process and outcome of the battle. Rongguang thought for a moment and became calm. Shi Yu was indeed very strong, but he could win at that time because at that time, the laws had yet to revive for the first time. The gods who had been forcefully awakened by the World Tree were severely enfeebled. Now that the laws had revived for the first time, the gods who woke up at this time would be much stronger than before. Under the revival of the laws, the gods recovered their former strength, while Shi Yu improved from scratch. It was obvious at a glance who the increase brought by the first revival of the laws was greater. Moreover, Shi Yu being able to defeat ancient god Golden Bull at that time was equivalent to a clueless 1 against 1. At that time, if there was also a beast tamer who could use his talent to strengthen ancient god Golden Bull, the outcome of the battle might not be certain. Now, although there was no ancient god Golden Bull, there was a super expert who had been immersed in level 8 for dozens of years who could strengthen the angel god with all his might. It was still unknown who would win in the end. Now, the only thing Rongguang was worried about was that Shi Yu had also reached level 8. If Shi Yu was still at level 7, even if his beast taming talent was very ridiculous, the enhancement shouldn't be too different from the level 8 Holy Emperor. After all, although the Holy Emperor didn't have a divine level talent, it was still a top-notch beast taming talent. This way, it might not be impossible to fight. Moreover, so be it if they lost. They might not necessarily have to fight for the head. Apart from Shenfeng, the other countries weren't that enthusiastic about competing with Dong Huang. Most of them only wanted to lie flat and wait for the changes of the mythical era. In that case, the preview of the Alliance Conference battle is a battle between the various countries to fight for the right of the Alliance. It should be. At this moment, the onlookers were even more looking forward to it. After announcing the relevant matters of the mythical era, the presidents of the associations of the various countries stood up and started to leave after greeting each other. Hello, everyone. Hee hee. After the presidents of the association left, spatial ripples flashed in the huge venue. A mechanical creature that looked like a cell phone appeared in the venue. It was completely different from the serious style of the presidents of the 7 countries just now. What's this silly mechanical cell phone? Its sudden appearance stunned many spectators watching the live broadcast. The cell phone quickly introduced itself and said, "I'm a super artificial intelligence developed by the 7-Nation Alliance, Black Light. Inside me, 99.99% of the information of the 7 countries is recorded. My growth level is as high as a guardian. Be it my horizons or strength, I'm one of the best. I can be called an ultimate mechanical life form. Therefore, next, I'll explain the battle between the representatives of the various countries to everyone." Who's this guy? Somewhere in the venue, beside Shi Yu, who was dozing off on the railing, Ling flew out and looked at the black cell phone. It actually dared to say that it was an ultimate mechanical life form. What a joke! It was the only ultimate mechanical life form. There are many strange things in the Alliance. Don't worry about it, Shiyu said with a laugh. At this moment, beast tamers were complaining about this cell phone everywhere. However, in a battle of this level, compared to human explanations, it indeed made the mechanical intelligence capture and explain more technical. Squeak, squeak, but I'm only in charge of explaining. Apart from me, there's another person in charge of protecting the venue and acting as the judge. Next, I'll leave the safety of this place to him. The black cell phone looked at the place where the presidents of the 7 countries had left just now. A moment later, a young man in a black sleeveless t-shirt and purple pants with mechanical tactical goggles on his head slowly sat in the middle of the presidents of the 7 countries just now. Then, he crossed his legs and looked at the main venue. The black cell phone, it's him, it's him! The previous world legend, the legendary beast tamer, Mr. Wexy. This cell phone is so annoying, Shiyu said. Now that he was the world legend, could he not randomly give this title to others? As expected, one title was still not enough. He happened to come to Alliance Island. He would go and see if there were any more impressive and awesome titles later. Chapter 1133, 1133 Too Cruel, 3. 1133 Too Cruel, 3. Right, right? Ling also agreed that this cell phone was very annoying. However, at this moment, the gazes of the world indeed focused on this young man named Wexy. He couldn't be more than 50 years old, but he had already reached the legendary level, so he looked very young. It was no longer a secret that the Shenfeng nation had a new legendary. Now that they finally saw him in person, the beast tamers of the various countries were stunned. Legendary Wexy, that legendary new beast tamer, should be the youngest legendary beast tamer at the moment. Yeah, a legendary under the age of 50, at the peak. He's actually the judge. That's true. After all, next is a spar between presidents of the various countries. Only legendaries are qualified to be judges. The appearance of the Divine Wind Thunder legendary was very shocking. This legendary beast tamer in his strongest state immediately made many experts of his generation recall some bad memories. But his appearance was also reasonable. The other legendaries of the 7 countries were already old people from the previous era. Because of the overload of the totem battle, their bodily functions had already begun to decrease. For example, Dong Huang and the Shenfeng mechanical legendary, who had modified themselves into machines, had already stopped attacking when possible to avoid too much loss. At this moment, only a new legendary like legendary Wexy could have sufficient energy to be the judge of the Alliance meeting. Although he was young, the capable were the first. Although the presidents of the various countries were more experienced, they were really one level inferior to legendary-level creatures. He was indeed qualified. Let's begin, legendary Wexy said after sitting down. The black cell phone also added, I believe the beast tamers representing the various countries are already prepared. Then let's begin. The rules this time are the 1v1 rules of the 2 pets. The points competition system. In other words, every beast tamer representing the various countries has to fight the representatives of the 6 countries one by one. The reason why the rules this time weren't a full-strength battle, but a 1v1 battle between 2 pets, was also because it represented the beast tamer in 6 battles. The consumption of all the members was too high. Next, I'll draw lots. Wu, the first to draw the battle. The projection of the black cell phone's lottery was projected in midair. Through the live broadcast, the audience could clearly see the name list on it. In the first round, the president of the Beast Tamer Association of the Snowfield Nation, Star God Monkolov, vs a member of the Beast Tamer Association of Dong Huang, the world legend, Shiyu. As soon as this name list appeared, Dong Huang cursed. He didn't expect the first round to be so exciting. Dong Huang, Shui Yuan, and Shenfeng. The overall national strength of the 3 countries was in the top 3 of the 7 countries. Shiyu actually faced the president of Snowfield the moment he came up. Star God Monkolov. a rather legendary beast tamer, was the record holder of the number of times the Seven Nation Alliance had ascended to the starry sky. His pets were basically evolved and cultivated towards cosmic life forms. They were all very strong. It had once ascended to the moon 64 years ago and fought and won against the unfamiliar totem on the moon. Its name shook Blue Planet. He had personally cultivated many new racial pets such as the Star God Bear, the Star God Tiger, and the Star God Eagle. Among them, some pets had even been cultivated to the totem level by Monkolov with the resources of the country and had totem battle power. Unfortunately, he was limited by his beast-taming level and couldn't contract the totem he had personally cultivated. Therefore, the most interesting thing about Star God Menkarlov was that his contracted first-team pets were basically invincible overlords, but some uncontracted second-team pets that he personally cultivated had grown to the totem level. It was impossible for such a figure to be unknown in the world. Star God Menkarlov's name had resounded on Blue Planet decades ago. This was also the reason why most people had doubts when the news compared Shiyu, a young man, to these older experts. Shiyu? On the Snowfield Nation side, they were also very surprised to see Shiyu drawn right from the start. The Star God Menkarlov was slightly stunned. Shiyu cultivating the Starry Sky Faith Divine Green Dragon had always been something that Shui Yuan cared about. He didn't know if he could fight Shiyu's Green Dragon in this battle. If he could, he would ask for guidance. Coming. The name list for the first battle is out. Let's wait for the two legends to enter. The representative of the Snowfield Nation is the fabled number 1 person below the legendary level in Snowfield, President Star God Menkarlov. He's nearly 100 years old now. He obtained the title of Star God 64 years ago and has a record of killing totems. He worked for Snowfield for half his life and is the soul of Snowfield. The representative of Dong Huang rose with a shocking force. His strength is also enough to kill totems. Moreover, in Inatella, he passed many trials of gods and obtained the recognition of gods. He's a super legend of the new generation, the strongest of the younger generation, Shiyu, the Black Cell Phone said excitedly. In terms of battle results, Shiyu wasn't weak either. Among them, Shiyu had an even stronger battle result, which was that he had defeated an enfeebled divine spirit. However, the Black Cell Phone didn't dare to talk nonsense. After all, ancient god Golden Bull was only in an enfeebled state. If it directly said that Shiyu had defeated a divine spirit, wouldn't that be disrespectful? Who knew if ancient god Golden Bull remembered to bear a grudge? Therefore, everyone tacitly said that Shiyu had passed the test of the ancient divine spirit and obtained recognition, not defeat. After all, that wasn't ancient god Golden Bull's full strength. Chapter 1134 Too Cruel, 4. 1134 Too Cruel, 4. Coming. I'm already looking forward to it. The super expert of the older generation vs the strongest of the younger generation. The audience of the various countries held their breaths and watched. Among them, the group of people from Dong Huang who knew Shiyu hugged the television and stared intently. The audience who had seen Shiyu's shocking performance in the World Tournament also fell into deep thought. They wondered how Shiyu's strength had improved after obtaining the blessing of the World Tree. If he could defeat or equalize President Monkolov, it wouldn't be too much to say that Shiyu had the strength of the top 10 in the world. A moment later, Shiyu, who was wearing a black and red battlesuit, and President Shui Yuan, who was wearing a white-gold presidential suit with fur decorations, appeared in the sky. Shiyu was a young man, while President Shui Yuan was a short old man with white hair and beard. At this moment, blue psychic power lingered around their bodies. They flew with psychic power and didn't seem to have pets beside them. The audience wasn't curious about this move. For powerful beast tamers, even if their pets were in the beast taming space, their skills would still affect the outside world. Most of the audience in front of the television thought that both parties were flying in midair with the power of their pets. However, the experts present could sense that President Monkolov had indeed borrowed the power of his pet, but that Shiyu was really using his spirit psychic power to fly in midair. Both parties' black hair and white hair fluttered in the wind. After Shi Yu and President Shui Yuan greeted each other slightly, they landed on the arena. At the same time, the presidents of the other countries also returned to their seats and looked at the home ground with different feelings, including legendary Wexi, who was the judge. He narrowed his eyes and observed Shi Yu and Monkolov, very concerned. Be it the new generation of world legends or the current strength of Shen Feng's old opponent, the president of Snowfield, he was very concerned. Perhaps he could spy on them through this battle. Thank you for the battle between the world legend and the legend of the star god. Please send out your pets. Battle. Begin. As both parties landed, the black cell phone looked at the home ground. This was a huge stone square venue that looked to be only a few hundred meters in length and width. However, if one believed what they saw with their eyes, they would be wrong. This was a venue built of spatial materials, equivalent to a half-fused Mystic Realm space. Another space overlapped, and the area was actually quite large. It was the highest-level battle arena in all aspects in the current Seven-Nation Alliance. It was only provided to titled beast tamers to fight. The control core of the Mystic Realm was currently in the hands of legendary Wexi. Charge! 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 Shi Yu, blow up that old man! Blow him up! In Donghuang's Wuling city, some people led by the beast-eared girl were cheering crazily for Shi Yu. Beside them, Senior Panda also shouted excitedly. President Monkolov shouldn't lose to a young man in his early 20s, right? Although the other party has also defeated the Totem Guardian, including the Star God Bear Guardian, President Monkolov has personally cultivated a bunch of guardians. On the Snowfield Nation's side, the beast tamers were also analyzing. At the scene, although Shi Yu and Monkolov had heard the command to start the battle, neither party immediately engaged in an intense battle with their swords. Instead, they calmly activated the summoning array. At the same time, they praised each other. It's rare to fight a young person. Dr. Shi Yu, you have to give in to my old bones a little. My current energy is much inferior to before, President Monkolov said with a smile. A huge red summoning star array appeared in front of him, and the figure of a huge beast was outlined. Red summoning array, level 8 beast tamer. He was only a step away from level 9 legendary. For a level 8 beast tamer of this age, it was very difficult to break through to level 9 unless there were suitable divine level resources. However, as the laws revived, the veteran level 8s of the various countries might have the possibility of stepping into the legendary domain in the future. President Monkolov, you're too polite, Shi Yu said with a smile. A black summoning array also appeared in front of Shi Yu with a bang. A level 7 legend beast tamer. Seeing that Shi Yu had already broken through to the legend level unlike in the world tournament, no one was surprised. After all, he had obtained the blessings of the world tree. It was possible for him to break through to the legendary level in a few years. At this moment, Shi Yu had yet to reach level 8, and many people were already relieved. If Shi Yu reached level 8, it would be really difficult to resist. Titled legends like them, the strongest tier of the older generation, would be completely pulled apart by Shi Yu from various dimensions. Roar! Roar! Under the praise of both parties, the figures of the pets of both parties completely appeared. A huge white leopard emperor 6 to 7 meters long appeared in front of Monkolov. Its body was dotted with star-like spots that shone brightly. A terrifying aura bloomed, making the presidents of the various countries freeze. It's President Monkolov's Star God Leopard. The black cell phone said, it's one of his signature pets, an invincible overlord. According to the records, 20 years ago, this Star God Leopard had 2 super racial skills trained to the limit close to transcendent. It has the ability to fight against totems alone. It's long been only a step away from the totem level. Chapter 1135, 1135 Too Cruel, 5. 1135 Too Cruel, 5. Holy shit. As the black cell phone finished speaking, many beast tamers cursed. Was this the pet of a titled legend in the strongest tier? If a super race skill reached transcendent, it would be at the totem level. If 2 super race skills reached transcendent, it would be top-notch totem battle power. If this star god leopard wasn't restricted by President Monkolov's level, it would probably have long reached the totem level. At the moment, the energy level of this star god leopard that appeared in front of Xiyu had also broken through the 100 million level and reached the standard of. It could be said that with the strengthening ability of the other party as a level 8 beast tamer, it was indeed powerful. After all, even if it was the most ordinary strengthening talent, as long as the beast tamer reached level 8, it could increase the pet's energy level by hundreds of millions. Moreover, Monkolov was an old expert who had stayed in the level 8 domain for many years. His talent development would definitely be stronger. It's indeed very strong. Even without quasi-divine skills, Little G Ducky and the others will feel pressure. Even Xiyu, who was his opponent, had to admit that the strongest titled legends in the various countries were much stronger than the strongest titled legends in ancient times. For example, this President Monkolov should be much stronger than the iron-eating beast general at the founding stage. This was normal. After all, these modern titled experts had relied on the power of a country to develop steadily for nearly 100 years under the protection of forbidden arms and legendary experts. They were on a completely different level from the resources enjoyed by ancient beast tamers. Roar! The might of the Panther Emperor enveloped the world, and a roar that contained majestic and wild will shook space. Roar! Similarly, the pet Xiyu sent out also displayed a ferocious dragon might. The aura of the two parties collided, instantly making the ground and sky tremble. On Xiyu's side, it was a ferocious pet 10 meters tall with dry brown skin and the appearance of a tyrant dragon. It drooled and stared at its opponent with red eyes. It was the land overlord Little G, who relied on its form to switch to the tyrant dragon form to reduce consumption. For a moment, both parties relied on their auras to bombard the arena. Overlord-level tyrant dragon. Xiyu's pet surprised everyone. Is it a mechanical phantom beast? Especially Monkolov himself, who was very shocked. After all Xiyu's contracted pets had been displayed in the World Tournament previously. Every one of them was very strong. Those 6 should be Xiyu's absolute main force. Although now that Xiyu had reached level 7, there was indeed a new contract slot and he could already contract a new pet, the cultivation strength of the new pet was actually very difficult to surpass the old pet in the short term. Half a year was too short. However, Xiyu still sent a new pet. This move was completely unexpected. In this era, it was impossible for there to be a living tyrant dragon. Then, this tyrant dragon was definitely a mechanical phantom beast. Now that the various countries had obtained the mechanical phantom beast technology, the first goal of research was the ancient Earth Overlord, the tyrant dragon. They were naturally not unfamiliar with the mechanical tyrant dragon. However, they still didn't expect Xiyu to contract another mechanical phantom beast when he had already contracted one. It's actually a new pet, and a mechanical phantom beast. Most beast tamers who had experienced the world competition were very stunned. Not the green dragon, not the iron-eating beast. Young man, are you looking down on me? President Monkolov said. In the alliance meeting, everyone had to experience several battles. They definitely had to leave most of the stamina of the trump card to the most important opponent. In Monkolov's opinion, Xiyu sending a new pet to fight him was looking down on him. President Monkolov, please don't underestimate it, Xiyu said. It's really surprising. Legend Xiyu sent out a tyrant dragon, an extinct Earth Overlord. This should be a mechanical phantom beast. As the black cell phone deduced, the two pets had already fought. The white leopard emperor stepped heavily with all 4 feet. Its figure was like the speed of light, difficult to capture with the naked eye. Its explosive power was extremely strong, and the ground trembled under its sprint. Little G's speed was crushed by the other party. Only when the other party was extremely close did Little G roar and activate Earthquake. The ground rumbled and emitted vibrations, but the Star God Leopard's battle skills were extremely high. In the face of the shaking ground that emitted terrifying vibrations, the light seal under its feet formed, and it easily maintained the stability of its speed. It instantly arrived in front of Little G. Its starry eye stared at Little G. The Star God Claw tore out, and dazzling light erupted. A shocking wave erupted, directly tearing apart little G's body, leaving a shocking wound mark on its abdomen. A brown light that was like blood spread from the wound. Little G's pile of skills was all at the initial stage of the perfect level and had yet to be added. Under normal circumstances, it was very difficult to deal with the Star God Leopard. If Shiyu wasn't wrong, this Star God Leopard should have at least 3 super racial skills that had reached the stage above, perfect plus 45. However, there was one thing. Little G wouldn't lose to this guy, which was its physical fitness. It was a professional at getting beaten up. Raw. You actually dare to hurt the overlord of the earth. Little G, who had widened its red eyes and resisted its opponent's attack, activated its furious reverse scale as the light in its abdomen exploded. Its anger erupted, and its dragon tail turned into a sword. Since its speed couldn't compare to its opponent, it used the form of an injury exchange battle. The super heavy sword swept down with gravity and instantly crushed the Panther Emperor that tore its chest to the ground. Chapter 1136 Too Cruel, 6. 1136 Too Cruel, 6. Boom! As its figure landed, the Star God Leopard was suppressed to the ground. Its body caved in and shattered the ground. A huge pit appeared in the ground. In the smoke, another light breath shot out of the dust mist, crushing the ground and continuing to attack Little G's wound. In an instant, it also flipped Little G over and sent it flying again. With a rumbling sound, a scratch dozens of meters long was pulled out. Who has the advantage? As the two overlords fought, the audience in front of the live broadcast swallowed their saliva and couldn't tell the situation. Only beast tamers above the legend level could tell that both parties were still warming up. President Monkolov didn't use his beast taming talent, nor did Shiyu use his beast taming talent. It looked like no one wanted to exhaust themselves first. Shiyu stood calmly on the spot. President Monkolov's white cloak fluttered, and his eyes were serious. From the warm-up situation, the mechanical tyrant dragon was clearly at a disadvantage. President has the advantage. The beast tamers in Snowfield were extremely happy. Buzz! A ball of light condensed in the sky. The Star God Leopard, which had been crushed into the ground by Little G, descended from the ball of light and appeared above the fallen Little G. 2 long fangs of light condensed in its mouth and locked onto Little G's throat. Light lingered as it swooped down, but with a roar, hot red light flashed in Little G's eyes and body on the ground. Lava that was like the light of red evolution flowed on its body and erupted. Countless magma balls and volcano bullets bloomed from its body, instantly forcing the Star God Leopard back and making it condense the Star God Claw. As it blasted away the magma eruption, it retreated and distanced itself from the source of the magma eruption. Magma? That's not a simple mechanical tyrant dragon. Little G's move immediately made people realize that it wasn't as simple as a tyrant dragon. That mechanical phantom beast has 2 fossil illusions. Countless mechanics were extremely incredulous and widened their eyes. A mechanical phantom beast could actually fuse 2 fossils. Now, this tyrant dragon had clearly changed its form. Damn, apart from how to fuse the mythical fossil, the mechanical phantom beast technology Dong Huang shared with them indeed had other aspects. Moreover, the appearance of the dragon-shaped creature in front of them directly made many archaeologists and presidents of associations widen their eyes. I said not to underestimate it. Shiyu was amused. This is bad. Monkolov's gaze was shocked. As the magma ball fell, the mechanical tyrant dragon that had been blasted away by the Star God Leopard also got up again. At this moment, there were no injuries at all. Or rather, its entire body had cracked. It completely changed from a tyrant dragon to the appearance of another ferocious beast, making Monkolov's expression change. F*CK. Everyone was shocked. Wasn't this the phantom appearance of the mythical creature, the Earth Divine Dragon, that Shiyu had displayed at the World Archaeological Conference? Damn, he even fused the phantom of the Divine Beast, the Earth Divine Dragon, on the foundation of the mechanical tyrant dragon? No wonder Shiyu contracted it. Boom! The dragon might that was filled with violent anger erupted again, making the retreating star god leopard's entire body tense up, revealing an extremely serious expression. It felt that the dragon in front of it was no different from a totem level. Roar! Little G roared and used gravity control. In an instant, under the shocked gaze of the star god leopard, the surrounding thousands of meters of domain was immediately covered by the gravity field. A red arc of light flashed in Little G's pupils. A terrifying gravity suppressed everything around it with it as the center. The dust that spread was instantly suppressed by the overwhelming gravity field. The star god leopard, which had condensed the wings of light to dodge the magma eruption and retreat into the sky, also instantly sensed the aura that descended from the sky. Bang! A shattered rock was pressed into the arena again. The entire arena seemed to have been flattened. The violent blurry gravity field made everyone's scalps tingle. The star god leopard felt that the gravity strength displayed by the other party this time was several times the power displayed by the other party just now. It was extremely terrifying. In an instant, it lost the ability to resist and its entire body quickly fell. After switching to the overlord form of the land, Little G directly activated the transcendent mythical revival and immediately obtained a body, spirit, soul, energy, and life comparable to a mythical race. Mythical revival was equivalent to a comprehensive attribute strengthening skill. In an instant, Little G, whose skill proficiency was inferior to the star god leopard, used this taught skill to crush the other party in terms of stats. Boom! The star god leopard descended like a meteor. Little G roared again. In the direction the other party fell, the ground shattered. An earth blade that pierced into the sky like a mountain peak rushed out of the ground and hit the falling star god leopard. Space-splitting sword! Little G cursed, fly! In an instant, the situation reversed again. Everyone in the snowfield looked at the imminent danger of the star god leopard and immediately revealed incredulous expressions. Star Soul, possession! On the other side, President Monkolov, who was fighting Shiyu, also had a serious expression. He knew that he couldn't continue like this. He immediately activated his beast-taming talent with all his might before Shiyu. Chapter 1137 Too Cruel, 7. 1137 Too Cruel, 7. Star Soul Talent. He and his pet used the power of the stars in the starry sky to condense the power of the stars into a beast-shaped star soul. The talent that possessed his pet was even stronger than ordinary strengthening talents. Roar! As starlight enveloped President Monkolov's surroundings, his eyes turned into the color of a vast star. The surrounding aura rose steadily, and starlight lingered around the star god leopard. Under the continuous entanglement of the starlight, it condensed into a silver leopard-shaped star soul that wrapped around the star god leopard like a starry coat. Immediately, its energy value, which had already exceeded 100 million, almost doubled, erupting with an even more terrifying power. Its various qualities also received an all-round increase like Little G. At the same time, its affinity for the power of the stars was also strengthened. Roar! After the star god leopard obtained the possession of the star soul, it struggled free from the restraints of the gravity field with a boom and adjusted its position. At the same time, with the acceleration of its fall, it condensed the star god claw and smashed it at the space-splitting sword. Boom! Not only was the space-splitting sword shattered, but countless cracks also appeared on the ground from the aftermath. The entire gravity field shattered. Seeing this, the beast-tamers of Snowfield heaved a sigh of relief again. In the next moment, the star god leopard emperor attacked again under Monkolov's command. During the beast-taming strengthening stage, be it pets or beast-tamers, there would be a certain burden. At the level 8 stage, although the strengthening time of a beast-tamer was no longer as short and weak as that of a low-level beast-tamer, and it was not a problem to maintain it for a few hours with normal strengthening, Monkolov knew that he was already old. In addition, there was still a battle later. He was unwilling to consume too much energy here and only wanted to end the battle quickly. Damn it, go! He watched as the star god leopard collided with Little G again. At this moment, the star god leopard seemed to have turned into a ball of light that kept hitting the huge mechanical dragon. No one could see the figure of the star god leopard clearly at all, and they could only hear the spatial collision sounds. Under the other party's fierce attack, Little G didn't fall into a disadvantage. Its huge dragon claws and dragon tail swept up hot magma, wrapped in divine-level dragon might, and fought the other party fiercely. For a moment, neither side was evenly matched. However, when this scene landed in the eyes of the presidents of the associations and the audience, it was extremely serious. They subconsciously swallowed their saliva because President Monkolov had even used his beast-taming talent. As for Shiyu opposite them, he still had his arms wrapped around his chest with a calm expression. He had no intention of interfering in the battle of pets. That mechanical phantom beast was fighting the star god leopard and a level 8 beast tamer alone. Who said that it's impossible for the younger generation to defeat the older generation? Come out and get beaten up. Countless spectators were shocked to have one's jaw drop and to be slack-jawed. They couldn't believe their eyes. After all, the other party was the strongest titled legend in the Snowfield Nation. The other party had already used all his strength and used his beast-taming talent, but Shiyu's mechanical dragon was still more than enough to parry. Large beads of sweat had already flowed down Monkolov's head. It couldn't be helped. Although the Transcendent Mythical Revival was a teaching skill, once this skill was activated, Little G was basically no different from a pseudo-totem. However, the opponent wasn't weak either. After all, with the combination of the two, it was really difficult to determine the winner for a moment. Just as everyone looked at the anxious battle with burning gazes, new changes occurred. Boom! After the attack, an even greater heat spread from the overlord of this land. Sensing the threat, even during the strengthening period, the star god leopard stopped its fierce attack and stopped in midair, looking at the enemy cautiously. Sensing that his opponent's battle was getting braver, President Monkolov's expression froze. The battle is so intense, the black cell phone finally spoke with lingering fears. The collision between the two parties has been even for too long. The confrontation has temporarily stopped. Looks like there are new changes. As soon as it finished speaking, blue veins had already appeared at the edge of the eye of the stars. The most powerful is the Star Soul Fusion, Star Splitting Claw. President Monkolov gave the order. The Star Soul wrapped around the Star God Leopard directly fused into its body, causing its muscles to increase exponentially, and its strength to increase again, entering a higher load state. Roar! In midair, the Leopard Emperor's body had reached more than 10 meters long. Its body was even stronger, and its sharp claws were filled with a shocking light, as if it could tear apart stars. An even more terrifying aura appeared on its body. Seeing this, the black cell phone immediately pulled up the data and shouted excitedly, "It's the final profundity of President Monkolov's Star Soul talent, Star Soul Fusion." It said that after the Star Soul Fusion, the pet's next attack can unearth all the pet's potential, gather all its strength, and release the strongest profundity. However, after the attack, it will also lose its ability to fight. Looks like President Monkolov doesn't plan to let the Star God Leopard fight the opponent anymore. He chose to bet everything. The final profundity of the Astral Soul Fusion. President Monkolov was also very helpless at this moment. The rational thing to do was not to fight a freak like Shiyu head-on. After all, Shiyu had not even displayed his divine-level beast-taming talent. Leaving it to his physical strength to deal with other countries was the right thing to do. However, President Monkolov was also a stubborn person. He didn't want to admit defeat directly in front of a junior. It was just stamina, so it should still be enough. This time, he didn't plan to let this set of old bones go back comfortably in the first place. He just had to sacrifice the Star God Leopard, but it didn't matter much. His other 7 pets were also at the level of the Star God Leopard, enough to support the next battle. Chapter 1138, 1138 Too Cruel, 8. 1138 Too Cruel, 8. He wanted to use all his strength to see where Shiyu's limit was. Of course, President Monkolov knew that Shiyu definitely had a trump card, his divine-level beast-taming talent. However, the consumption of a divine-level talent that exceeded a top-notch beast-taming talent was definitely several times, more than 10 times, dozens of times higher than a top-notch talent like his. the stronger the talent, the greater the consumption. Shiyu might not necessarily be willing to use it too early. After all, there were more opponents next. There were also opponents of mythical races. That should be the target Shiyu should deal with all his might, so he was taking a gamble. President Monkolov's current goal was to at least defeat this mechanical illusion god. It had to be said that President Monkolov made the right bet. Shiyu was indeed unwilling to use his mind domain at this time. Even if it was telepathy, he was unwilling to use it too early. He felt that it was a waste of energy. However, President Monkolov made the right bet, but not completely. Apart from the enhancement of the beast-taming talent, Shiyu and the others had another trump card. The final profundity? It's useless. Shiyu looked at his opponent. The next moment, what Monkolov was most worried about happened. Boom! The star god leopard was like a flash of light, a huge dragon that shot from the sky to the ground. Countless spectators had their hearts in their throats as they watched this attack, wanting to see what kind of damage President Shui Yuan's final profundity could cause to the opponent. Could it change the situation in one hit? But suddenly, the expressions of the star god leopard and President Monkolov changed. Legendary Wexy, the presidents of many associations, and the audience's expressions changed drastically. As the enemy attacked, Little G looked up. The surroundings rumbled and trembled. Accompanied by the vibration, the sound of laws resounded through the venue. President Monkolov's pupils constricted. Earth, space, the vibration of the sound of laws. As expected, not only did you fuse with the Earth Divine Dragon fossil, but you also successfully awakened its Law Divine skill. Another mythical race. Their hearts were miserable, and their faces were pale. What he was most worried about happened. It understood that there was completely no room for a comeback. Quasi-divine skill, Cataclysm. Amidst the trembling sounds around, the ground under Little G's feet quickly cracked and spread like the speed of light. In an instant, there was no intact place in a radius of hundreds of meters. Little G raised its head and roared. Roar! In an instant, shocking magma flames spread from the cracks in the ground. As the ground trembled, they swept up like a tsunami, devouring the ground and sweeping with layers of power. In an instant, they spewed out like a volcano eruption. Boom! The entire arena was like a volcano. With Little G as the core, the ground was instantly filled with a magma sea of fire. The magma pillar of fire that was more than 100 meters in diameter swept up the power of the shock wave and shot into the sky. It immediately devoured the incoming light. The other party's attack didn't cause any ripples before it was obliterated in the endless earth and magma vibrations. Bang! The entire Alliance Island rumbled, scaring legendary Wexy. However, he immediately realized that Shiyu and the others had controlled their strength very well and didn't affect the outside of the arena much. This is a quasi-divine skill? Another mechanical illusion god? How is this possible? His expression was shocked. They, Shenfeng, had studied the fusion of the mythical fossil in detail. Even legendary Zed asserted that Shiyu could successfully create a mechanical illusion god purely because the Kirin race was relatively special and had the enhancement of luck to pass down the divine skill. However, the scene in front of him directly shattered legendary Z's judgment. Shiyu, this monster, had cultivated and created another divine pet. Countless people revealed incredulous expressions. World Destroyer, Earth Divine Dragon. The angel god sensed the change in the laws and also appeared beside the Rongguang Light Pope with a slightly shocked expression. It's not the main body, but it's indeed its power. Is the Earth Divine Dragon very strong? The Holy Emperor asked. The angel god nodded and said, it's a god who left Blue Planet behind. It's an existence in the first tier. Its power was actually inherited. Lava erupted from the ground for more than 10 seconds. During the entire process, the figures of the star god leopard and Little G were devoured without any sound. When little bit of magma fell again, turning the entire venue into a magma venue, everyone finally discovered the figures of the two pets. The mechanical phantom beast was still bathing in the magma and standing on the arena unscathed. However, there was no longer a trace of intactness on the body of the star god leopard. It lay in the magma on the verge of death and completely lost consciousness. The so-called final profundity was instantly killed by the other party's stronger ultimate move before it could even approach the opponent. In the first round, the winner was decided. At this moment, most of the audience looked at the live broadcast in confusion. They didn't understand. Damn, what's this? Looking at the arena that had turned into a sea of lava, countless people were stunned. Didn't they agree on the final profundity? Why was it insta-killed by the opponent in the blink of an eye? What skill was that? They didn't understand, but they could understand the ferocity of this move. The divine skill scene that spewed out just now was still in everyone's eyes, making them open their mouths wide. Even the black cell phone couldn't say anything at this moment. It was slightly shocked. Now that it looked back, it was clearly a one-sided battle. If Shiyu's pet had used this move from the start, the battle would probably have ended not long after it started. You guys? But because of consumption and retaliation, as the star god leopard fell, President Monkolov directly spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was even paler as he covered his chest. They were completely stunned by the strength of Shiyu and the mechanical earth divine dragon. He could sense that the surging energy contained in this move had even exceeded the meteorite summoned by Shiyu in the World Tournament. It was incomparably terrifying. In fact, this was even if the other party held back. If it erupted with all its might, it might be comparable to the mysterious millstone. President Monkolov was directly dizzy. The beast tamers of the Snowfield Nation were stunned when they saw their president's miserable state through the live broadcast. They couldn't accept that their president, who had been famous for decades, had been defeated by a young man. The beast tamers of the various countries couldn't believe that the president of the Snowfield Nation had actually lost a round in a crushing defeat. Moreover, from the aura of that dragon, it seemed to still have energy. It still had energy after using such a strong skill? How strong was Shiyu? Dr. Shiyu is impressive, awesome. He actually crushed the pet of the president of the Snowfield Nation Association. The beast tamers of Donghuang who were watching the live broadcast had excited expressions. No wonder Donghuang sent Shiyu to fight. As expected, what did they know? Dr. Shiyu was forever a god. Was this the strength of a mechanical phantom beast? Was this the value of the strongest world legend? They were definitely going to take the mechanic class of Ancient Capital University. Don't worry, it's fine. President Monkolov, do you want to continue? Shiyu said. Fortunately, Little G had already finished warming up and was already familiar with the power of laws here. Otherwise, it would really be difficult to control this skill. It would be very dangerous to use it immediately. The opponent wouldn't even be left with ashes. Now, it was all right. Little G could already control the power of the crowd control. It was all thanks to the proficiency of the Cataclysm that it had reached the proficient level because of the mythical revival. It could still do it again. President Monkolov's face darkened. Damn, another mythical race. This monster. At this moment, the expressions of the presidents of the associations became even uglier. Moreover, it was the Phantom Beast Earth Divine Dragon known for its destructive power. Now, they finally understood why Shiyu still contracted this one even though he already had a mechanical Phantom Beast. It was very normal for Shiyu to contract a new pet. In the speculation of the various countries, even what Shiyu would contract within the 7th contract slot had been speculated a few times. The countries estimated that Shiyu was most likely to give this contract slot to the Abyss Demon Duck that had obtained the divine level resource, the Abyss Seed, and the reincarnation of the Abyss Evil God. It was also possible to contract the cut of the mythical demon race he had obtained from Lord Lai Shan. However, in the end, it was a mechanical phantom beast. What did this mean? It meant that the potential of this mechanical phantom beast exceeded those in Shiyu's eyes, even exceeding that Wind Kareen phantom beast. In fact, in their eyes, the performance of this mechanical earth divine dragon was even more terrifying. It could actually control divine skills with ease. Just one move. Regardless of its functionality, its battle power might have already exceeded that Sword Spirit and the Blue Sea Sprite. Its battle potential had probably already approached or even exceeded Shiyu's top 6 pets. This Shiyu was even more troublesome. He had to quickly analyze the strategy to resist this mechanical Earth Divine Dragon. Chapter 1139 Poor Sword Spirit. 1139 Poor Sword Spirit. At the moment, Shiyu versus Monkolov. The current situation was that Monkolov was at an absolute disadvantage. Moreover, because he assisted the Star God Leopard in attacking with all its might, he also suffered a backlash. This Shiyu is simply abnormal. It's better not to fight him. When the titled legend of Shui Yuan saw this, he couldn't help but think to himself and look at his president. The other countries took advantage of the mythical revival to befriend divine beasts. In the end, Shiyu cultivated another one after half a year. Moreover, in terms of strength, it was simply stronger than the pet's strength he had displayed in the past. Fight my ass. This guy was abnormal. Their snowfield was relatively unlucky. Although they had successfully befriended a reincarnation divine beast, that divine beast's growth level was only at the monarch level. Its strength had yet to recover, so it couldn't participate in a battle at this level at all. Therefore, President Monkolov could only fight personally. But who would have thought that the opening was disadvantageous, and it was the sharpness lost by a young beast tamer? Continue. Monkolov calmed his breathing. Apart from the final outcome, the aura during this alliance meeting was also very important. As the leader of the Snowfield Nation, if he admitted defeat to a young man and couldn't even defeat the other party's pet, the morale of the Snowfield Nation would suffer a huge blow. This wouldn't do. Jew! Everyone looked at the arena and saw that after President Monkolov recalled the Star God Leopard, he summoned a new pet. In the sky, a red summoning array appeared. A long, clear, and sharp cry with extremely strong penetration sounded. Then, a huge vulture with a light blue body that spread its wings more than 10 meters descended. Its sharp eyes were like blue stars, looking down at the ground. Star God Vulture! It was impossible to admit defeat. However, Monkolov didn't dare to send out his trump card. His trump card was an Ice Element Star Bear race. It looked like he had indeed chosen to leave it to other countries. However, this Star God Vulture was not weak either. It was not inferior to the Star God Leopard just now. If Shiyu's Mechanical Illusion God had used more than half of its strength in that attack just now and didn't change pets, this battle might not be easy. President Monkolov changed pets. He sent out his Star God Vulture. This pet is also quite powerful. It once defeated a totem with the support of President Monkolov. The black cell phone shouted in introduction in shock. However, his gaze kept stopping on Shiyu and the mechanical divine dragon. In the introduction, its tone suddenly froze as it looked at Shiyu and the others. Roar! The huge lava dragon suddenly turned to look at Shiyu and its beast tamer. Little G, I'm not playing anymore. Shiyu, oh? Shiyu was rather surprised because Little G actually still had the strength to fight. If he gave this Star God Vulture another disaster, it should be able to insta-kill it. But from the looks of it, Little G meant that it still wanted to appear more times. Now that it had 2 quasi-divine skills in a row, it would definitely be crippled. Even with Baby Ginseng's treatment, it couldn't get up in the short term. On the contrary, if he maintained this good state and received nourishment, he could still fight in a pretty good state. Let Daki do it. Little G was very generous. Shiyu was even more surprised. After hearing Little G's analysis, he actually realized that Little G had become smarter and knew that battles had to be controlled. This wasn't like its personality. It clearly didn't add any intelligence to it. All right. Shiyu chose to listen to his pet's suggestion and put away his little phone. According to the rules, after a pet lost its ability to fight, both parties had a chance to change pets once. Shiyu also decisively chose to change. Seeing Shiyu retract his little phone, the black cell phone immediately said in surprise, Legend Shiyu chose to retract his pet. He's going to send out a new pet. Looks like that move just now consumed a lot of this pet's strength. It had to be said that Shiyu's action of retracting his pet had left President Monkolov with a lot of face. If Little G defeated a pet and didn't consume much stamina, and it could still pass through two opponents at once. It was simply pressing Shui Yuan's face on the ground. Shiyu's action of retracting his pet could instead make some people comfort themselves. Little G had already done its best just now. Change pets? Which one is it? President Monkolov's expression turned cold. All eyes were focused on Shiyu's newly activated summoning array. I guess it's the Green Dragon. The Green Dragon is the god of faith in the starry sky. Its cultivation level will definitely be above that old kid, Monkolov's pet. It will definitely win steadily. Shui Yuan will lose face this time. President Logan of Shenfeng was also watching happily. The other mechanical Phantom Beast is also possible. The Star God Vulture is better at flying than the Star God Leopard. The Earth Divine Dragon is not easy to deal with, but the Wind Kareen, the Overlord of the Sky, is more suitable. Everyone guessed. A new pet image had already condensed. It was also at this moment that the expressions of almost all the beast tamers who had experienced the world competition suddenly froze. Even President Monkolov was stunned again. Because a duck appeared on the huge summoning array. A huge black duck 5 meters tall with dark blue patterns all over its body. On its neck, the pure golden blue water that was like cleansing water froze like a ribbon, becoming a scarf-like part that floated behind it in an extremely domineering manner. Chapter 1140 Poor Sword Spirit, 2 1140 Poor Sword Spirit, 2 As soon as it appeared, it looked at the ground and cursed. Seeing that the entire venue was filled with magma, Ducky immediately exploded in anger. King Land Overlord. It knew that nothing good would happen if Little G replaced it. Ducky immediately jumped up from the heat and roared at the sky. It was very angry. Quack! The sky was instantly pitch black, and black water droplets fell from the sky. Dark sky wave rain. A terrifying demon god aura lingered between the sky and the ground. A dark red light flashed past the duck's eyes. It looked at the star god Vulture unkindly, planning to vent the anger it had suffered at home on outsiders. Ooh? Shiyu summoned a new pet, the Abyss Demon Duck. It could be said that the number of people who could guess it at the scene was almost zero. How was this possible? Shiyu's first 6 pets, Iron-Eating Beast, Green Dragon, Baby Ginseng, Sword Spirit, Blue Sea Sprite, Wind Kareen. The 7th was the Mechanical Illusion Divine Dragon. And now, as a level 7 beast tamer, Shiyu had sent out his 8th pet. It wasn't the first 6 pets that had appeared in the World Tournament. Instead, it was the Abyss Demigod reincarnation known as the second team at that time. It had temporarily not contracted and obtained the divine level Abyss Seed. Although the image was a little different, from the power fluctuations, it was the power of the Abyss. Holy shit! Shiyu had even contracted it. Therefore, what was going on? Shiyu had broken the contract of the first pet? Otherwise, how could he contract 2 new pets in a row? Shiyu's previous pets were also top-notch pets. Although the Abyss Demon Duck with divine level resources was indeed very strong, it didn't have to be broken just like that, right? For someone of Shiyu's status, although the side effects of breaking the contract were not difficult to recover from, it would more or less affect the relationship between beast tamers and pets. How could he bear to do that? Green Dragon, even more so. That's the Eastern god in Dong Huang's heart, the god of faith in the starry sky. It's not easy to nurture it. Only a fool would abandon it. A time element ginseng baby that can revive and self-destruct. Any beast tamer can't break the contract with such a strategic pet. The Blue Sea Sprite is the strongest demigod reincarnation. It's known by the gods as the strongest tier god after stepping into the mythical domain. It's impossible to give up. Could it be? Everyone recalled that Shiyu had contracted a new mechanical phantom beast. Could it be that he had broken the contract with the Wind Kareen? They quickly shook their heads. The Wind Kirene had mastered a divine skill of luck, and it was a mythical race. Shiyu shouldn't be that stupid. From the looks of it, the greatest possibility was that Shiyu had broken the contract with the Sword Spirit. Although that Sword Spirit was also very strong, its performance in the World Tournament was far inferior to Shiyu's other pets. Compared to the Green Dragon and Baby Ginseng that killed totems and the Iron-Eating Beast that defeated the enfeebled Divine Spirit, its battle record of possessing Shiyu had only killed an invincible overlord. The greatest function was to possess a beast tamer. Compared to other Divine Beast teammates, as a heroic spirit, it was severely affected by its previous life, and the upper limit of its growth was also relatively low. Moreover, as a heroic spirit, even if it broke the contract, it wouldn't betray the beast tamer. It was a life and death binding. Therefore, it was very likely that the Sword Spirit had been broken by Shiyu and eliminated, replaced by the current mechanical illusion god, the Earth Divine Dragon, and the Abyss Demon Duck. At this point, everyone felt that they were close to the truth. They couldn't help but feel pity for the Sword Spirit. Poor Sword Spirit. It was clearly very strong, but the pets later were even more monstrous. What are these guys imagining? President Lin Xiao noticed that in the huge venue, even legendary Wexi fell into deep thought. His expression kept changing, as if he was guessing something. He couldn't help but be stunned. That made sense. If Shiyu had not told him in advance, he would definitely be equally stunned. It was an extremely pity to break the contract of Shiyu's pets. But was there a possibility that Shiyu had not removed any of them, but obtained a contract slot that was different from ordinary people under the blessings of the World Tree? Double contract slot? Perhaps even the legends of the previous 3 worlds didn't have this treatment. Star God Vulture, Starlight. While everyone was still guessing which pet had been eliminated by Shiyu, the battle had already continued. President Monkolov was indeed experienced. Just now, he looked extremely weak, but in the blink of an eye, he was enough to assist the Star God Vulture in the battle with all his might. Boom! A huge star soul possessed the Star God Vulture. It let out a long roar. As it expelled the black rain that corroded energy and attacked its body, it summoned Starlight, wanting to disperse the dark sky wave rain from the source. Jew! In terms of skill proficiency and various stats, the Star God Vulture was still better. At least, it pulled open 2 small steps, so with the experience provided by Little G, this time, as soon as Ducky came up, it activated the Peerless mode, Abyss Liberation. It didn't want to be tortured by the other party in its normal state. Little G's Cataclysm also needed to warm up to increase its control over the skill, but it didn't need it. Firstly, it was because the core of the move was all gathered in the body and wouldn't cause too much damage to the outside world. Secondly, it had moves that restricted quasi-divine skills. Bang! 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 The Star God Vulture discovered that it could immediately disperse the dark clouds. However, with a strange thumping sound, it let out an ominous roar and circled in the sky, discovering that the dark clouds were even stronger.